From the White House, a project he says was finished ahead of schedule and under budget.
We don't hear those words too often in government, but you will.
Still, the project is not without controversy. Labor unions protested the ribbon cutting outside, Lisa.
And Jared celebrity chef Jose Andres, who backed out of opening a restaurant at that new Trump hotel, is campaigning with Hillary Clinton in Florida.
Let's elect a leader that knows that everybody has something to give.
Clinton says Trump used undocumented workers on the hotel project.
So like with so much else that Donald Trump says, he says one thing and then he does something different.
The crowd in Tampa chanting happy birthday at one point. Clinton is 69 today. The group that oversees the Hollywood Walk of Fame says it's working quickly to repair damage to Trump's star after it was vandalized. L.A. police investigating after blows from a hammer destroyed the candidate's star early today. A man who identified himself as Jamie Otis says he's responsible for the damage, reportedly claiming that his original intention was to remove the star and auction it off to raise funds for the women accusing Trump of sexual assault. A powerful aftershock just rattling central Italy around magnitude 6, swaying buildings as far south as Rome, as after a 5.4 quake also felt in the capital and centered near Perugia just a few hours ago. There is damage following the aftershock, but the extent of the damage isn't yet clear. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
In my line of work, I'm trying to make a difference. Not $1 billion, but I want to save for the future, too. So this year, I partnered with TIAA to help me map out a plan. If I stick to it, I could have an income stream for life and maintain my lifestyle in retirement. Looks like a life of rewarding work could pay off for a lifetime.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org.
An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare open enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare open enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
About face at the Pentagon as the U.S. Defense Chief tries to address a controversial decision. Fox Radio's John Decker is live at the White House.
Responding to bipartisan outrage from lawmakers, Defense Secretary Ash Carter ordered the Pentagon to suspend efforts to reclaim re-enlistment bonuses of thousands of California National Guard soldiers. White House spokesman Josh Earnest said efforts will also be made to reimburse veterans who started paying back the government the $15,000 they received to re-enlist 10 years ago.
We're going to make sure that everybody gets treated fairly, including people who may have had legitimate claims to keep their bonus, but have already tried to do the right thing by repaying it.
Many Guard members had wages garnished and racked up penalties and other debt trying to pay back the bonuses. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Carter says he's acting within his authority. Some in Congress say a legislative fix may be needed. A former doctor just convicted of killing 4 people with ties to an Omaha medical school, including the 11-year-old son of a faculty member there. Anthony Garcia, guilty on 4 counts of first-degree murder, could face the death penalty if voters choose on Election Day to keep Nebraska's death penalty. Some of Subaru's top-selling models in the U.S. are being recalled.
Subaru's recalling more than 100,000 cars and SUVs in the United States with turbocharger air pumps that can run continuously, overheat, and cause fires. This involves some Legacies and Outbacks from 2007 to 09, 2008 to 14 Imprezas, and 2009 to 13 Model Foresters. Subaru has reported in government documents 2 fires but no injuries. Owners will be asked to come in and have a relay replaced. Chris Foster, Fox News.
The Cubs and the Indians hoping to beat the rain and play today's second game of the World Series in Cleveland, moved up an hour to 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. At the closing bell, the Dow up 30 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert? You might need one coming up. Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, chance of rain. It's raining right now. Low 47. Thursday, overcast. High 59. Low 43. We will get some warmer weather this weekend. Doesn't get much better for homecoming on Saturday. High 76. But Friday's first. That's a high 72 and mostly sunny. Wow. Right now, light rain throughout the area. 60 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
A swing and a weak ground ball, a swinging bunt up the third baseline, no play anywhere. It's a base hit for Ramirez to bring in Lindor, and the Indians have a 1-0 lead. And the 0-2, and it hit him. A cutter ran in and hit Geyer in the leg. And that will force in another run to give the Indians a 2-0 lead. And the pitch from Lester, and a swing and a ball hit well to left field. This is going to be off the top of the wall, and now it's being signaled as a home run. And that is going to go as a home run for Perez. And that will extend the Indians' lead to 3-0. And a hanging breaking ball is hit a ton to left field and gone. What a night for Roberto Perez. His second home run of the ball game blows it open. 6-0 Indians. The 2-2 swing and a miss, and the Indians win game 1. They shut out the Cubs 6-0. What a night for their pitching staff. What a night for Roberto Perez. And the Indians have taken game 1 of the World Series.
Yeah, highlights courtesy ESPN. What a night for Cleveland. Giving away NBA championship rings in one part of town. Not even one part of town. They're close together, I think, right? You've
right
been
across
there.
The street.
Is it right across the street?
Right across the street.
So doing that on one building and right across the street, they're winning game 1 of the World Series 6-0. Corey Kluber, outstanding. The two-seam fastball, hello. I told you when I got here, it's Tay and J Show. 8
strikeouts in the first 3 innings. The first 9 guys he faced. True. 8 strikeouts.
The only thing I thought is he's throwing a lot of pitches, I guess, if he's striking out 8. But that two-seam fastball, I told you before we started, every guy has a portion of their body we don't want anything anywhere close to, right? Especially a ball going
things.
Well, right. Especially a ball traveling 90 miles an hour. But if you threw that two-seamer to me in that general area, I'm bailing too, man.
Yeah.
And that thing would just come right back over the plate for strike. Kluber had it. He looked rested. His arm was on fire.
Sometimes I'm happy that fans get to see somebody.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Right, that maybe they don't see during the rest of the season. National League fans, I know the Cardinals have seen Corey Kluber recently.
I know exactly where I was when he struck out 18 Cardinals. I'll never forget it.
Right, I mean, so you guys got at least a taste of him. This has been one of the best pitchers in baseball in the last 3 or 4 years, and last night you saw why, and the Cubs fell victim to it, and there's nothing to be ashamed of in it because he's ridiculously good. Against Andrew Miller, they had some opportunities.
They really did. They hit the balls. They squared up against him.
They had some nice at-bats against him, but Andrew Miller gets out of it because Andrew Miller's that good, and Cody Allen just shut the door. That's what the Indians had to do.
Right. They had to win game 1.
We talked about it yesterday. Corey Kluber, they have to win his starts.
Yes.
He is the equalizer because he's their one great starter. Trevor Bauer has good stuff tonight, but he's got a lot of flaws.
Sure.
The rest of those starting pitchers, Salazar, we don't know what we're getting out of him.
Right.
And we'll see who else starts. It might just be Kluber in game 4.
Interesting.
But that's where they have to win those games. If they win those games, they have a chance to win this series.
Yes, they do.
And by winning last night, they made this a series.
Yes, they did.
If the Cubs won last night and beat Corey Kluber, this could have been a very quick series. So the Indians did what they had to do. I don't feel like it's just like game 3, last series against the Dodgers. I don't feel like the Cubs, it's time to freak out about anything.
At all.
Because this team is the stronger team over a 7-game series. But the Indians made it a series by doing what they did last night.
It is natural, and I'm right with you for the majority of you Cub fans, unless you really watch a lot of baseball, like Jeremy does. I know you do it for multiple purposes, but you've got fantasy baseball. Unless you watch a lot of sports or baseball, you don't know as much about the Junior League, as they call it, the American League. And I almost got the sense that Cubs fans going into this, and I could be wrong, I could be totally wrong.
The American League better?
Yeah, well, yes. But I
deeper.
almost got the sense that Cubs fans going into this weren't quite as nervous as they were facing the Giants and the Dodgers because you hear all about them. You faced them during the season. You faced Baumgartner. You've faced Kershaw. You know what these teams can do. Then you go into an Indians team that is banged up. I mean, let's be honest. They're banged up. Their best hitter, right, is out. Well, not now, but
best position player.
Michael
Brantley's been out most of the year.
Played like 12 games. Two of their starters.
Jonathan Lucroy said no to them. In the trade.
That's true.
Their catcher hits 2 bombs.
Oh, gee, I forgot all about that. But really, you sit there and you go through this lineup and you don't know a lot of these guys. Right. And listen, I'm right with you. I don't know a lot of these guys. And so you maybe go into it thinking, all right, I'm pretty comfortable knowing that the Cubs are going to win this in 5. And they still could. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely
they still easily could do this because I still think they're the better team. But the Indians are feeling so good about themselves right now. And when Corey Kluber goes out and does that, and the recipe was exactly what Terry Francona needed, give me a lead into the 6th or 7th, and guess what? This game's over. And granted, the Cubs did get to Miller a little bit, but they didn't get to him in terms of runs.
I just want to go over this really quick. Top 10 guys, starting pitchers in wins above replacement the last 3 years. 10, Madison Bumgarner. 9, Cueto. 8, Jose Quintana. 7, John Lester. 6, Jake Arrieta. 5, Chris Sale. 4, David Price. 3, Max Scherzer.
You still haven't said a name.
2, Corey Kluber.
Wow.
1 is Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, and listen, Kluber, he had it last night. He had it going, and the fact that you could take him out after throwing, 90 pitches.
I mean, how many of those strikeouts were looking?
Oh,
it was 4 of the first 8?
Probably the majority. Yeah, the majority.
I think at least half of them.
I mean, and do you blame the Cubs? I mean, that ball's 2 feet inside when it's coming at you 90, and then it just dips back over the plate.
And John Lester just had a bad inning.
Yeah, he did. He had one bad inning.
Control. I mean, he didn't really get hit that hard outside of the Perez home run.
He really didn't.
So Strope got hit hard on that one, but outside of that, John Lester looked pretty good.
He really
7
did.
strikeouts and 5 2/3. Just had the one bad inning where he's walking people and he hits a batter, and the rest of the game he was going pretty well. Andrew Miller had 44 pitches. I don't mind Francona putting him in that long.
I don't either.
Because you got to win the game.
Yeah, I agree.
You absolutely have to win the game. It's just like with Jansen and Dave Roberts. You just have to win that game. You can't take it for granted. But it'll be interesting to see how much he pitches tonight, if he pitches tonight.
I think I agree with you 100%. You have to win that game, but it certainly could. It could make a difference in game 2.
Do you think that the Cubs had good at-bats against him?
Yes, they did.
Especially Schwarber the first time, but Miller came around and got him to strand those couple runners in the second time. Those were phenomenal at-bats. That was great postseason.
I couldn't breathe watching that. I was like, whoa.
And we have no dog in the fight.
We
I'm
don't.
Like, this is so much fun.
This is awesome.
And this is what the postseason's all about,
Totally
these kind of matchups. And we'll talk about Schwarber here in a second. But do you feel like that'll translate the rest of the series? Like the Cubs have an approach against Andrew Miller that no one else has figured out.
It's funny you say that. Right after the game, I started thinking about this game, and I'm going through kind of the scenarios. One of them being, all right, Kluber only threw 90. He'll be back. Lester's fine. John Lester can come back whenever you need him. Then I started thinking, me, I'm the other side of it. I'm the La Russa disciple. Why are we throwing our closer when we're up 6? Now, it was a late home run in that inning. He didn't have anybody else warming up. I get it. You're only up 3. You got to win that game.
And the thing with these breaks between games, like a day break, you're going to pitch your guys every game you can.
Absolutely, because it's not like and sometimes in baseball you play 12 straight games.
Yeah.
Now they know they're going to play 2, day off, 3, day off, 2 if it goes the distance. So they understand that. But I'm with you. I was just, as I'm watching that, I'm like, Then right after it ended, I thought, man, the Cubs really did have some great at-bats against, including Schwarber.
Even though they struck out 15 times.
Right. But they had, against Miller.
Got good approach.
They were watching the ball all the way to the glove. It felt like they were locked in on him. And then I started thinking the other way. Like, maybe Miller now understands, okay, these guys are sitting on this or they're waiting on this. My approach next time, because he didn't come out throwing strikes. He was trying to throw down in the zone.
Like, most people are taking we got Miller.
We got him.
Next time we'll get Miller.
It could be
this
really
guy
bad.
Had a 1.4 ERA. He didn't have his best stuff last night.
He didn't.
right?
He really
wasn't
didn't.
locating it all. That was his issue, and he still didn't give up any runs.
He didn't.
He got out of those jams that he got himself into. So while you might take it on the side of, oh, well, this is going to translate to next game, I sit there and go, you missed your opportunity.
You did. I totally agree with you.
I think you might have missed your best opportunity to get to Andrew Miller, because I don't think that I don't know if you're going to have as many opportunities, because you saw when he's going right in those couple at bats he did, he's unhittable.
He is unhittable. I mean, you just don't hit him. You think you know where the arc of the ball is going, and you don't. And these are the best hitters in the world trying to hit him. Let me go back to the starters for two things. One positive for the Cubs, one positive for the Indians. The Cubs, the fact that thing after about 3 or 4 innings felt like it should have been about 6-0.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you look and it's 2-0. And I'm like, how good is John Lester? He's battling through, for him, an average start. And he's so good of a pitcher, and yet they're only down 2-0. He gave you a chance to win that game.
Yeah.
And then with Kluber, I noticed this last night, and don't take anything into it except just the appearance of him and the way he acts. He's got some Chris Carpenter to him, doesn't he? Did you notice that?
He's nicknamed the Klubot.
Is okay,
yeah.
And maybe you remember how Carp, and I'm not trying to like put Chris Carpenter on some pedestal, although he was a Cy Young winner.
Kluber's probably a little bit better.
I agree with you. But he almost has that, he's kind of just got that workman-like, give me the ball. I know Lester did. They all do.
Well, you're saying he's a robot.
He really is. That's exactly right.
He hates the nickname.
Yep.
But that's what he is.
And that's kind of struck me last night. And I think he kind of looks like him too, which really kind of started it. But it was interesting to see Kluber and Lester. And hey, if we get to see those two again in this series, sign me up.
What I found out last night is I'm hoping, as an impartial guy here, for a series.
I am too.
And we got it.
Yes.
No matter if this only goes 6, winning game 1 for the Indians makes this an interesting series, because this feels like it could have, if the Cubs won last night.
I agree with you.
It's like, they're going to win this thing. I still like the Cubs' chances to win 4 out of the next 6.
I do too.
But the Indians, I mentioned them a couple weeks ago. I go, that's the team that scares me the most, because they run the bases well.
They do.
They got some pop in the middle of that lineup. Lindor's a superstar that people are figuring out about. Corey Kluber's an ace, and that bullpen's the best in baseball. So, there are things that the Cubs obviously have better. Their lineup is deeper. Their rotation is deeper. But this Indians team is just red hot.
Yes, they are. And this isn't red hot 06 Cardinals all of a sudden taking a tear. I mean, this is a good Indians team.
90-something win team.
Exactly. So there's a difference there. Yes, they're red hot, kind of like the Cardinals and other wild card teams have done, but the Indians weren't a wild card team. This is a little bit different with regards to that, but they feel good about themselves. Yep. They're happy. They're loose. Not that the Cubs aren't.
And their manager's 9-0 World Series games.
It's awesome. I heard they interviewed. That's unbelievable. They interviewed, I think it was Andrew Miller, I heard on yesterday, and they were asking him about Terry Francona and what he'll be like in the dugout, and he's like, he'll be a you-know-what show. I mean, and the guy interviewed, actually it was on the pregame here on our station. The guy asked him, he said, how many pieces of gum is he going to go through tonight? He's like, probably minimum 60, and you saw it. Francona just keeps throwing gum into his mouth. I love it.
Cubs' best player, though, yesterday was Kyle Schwarber.
He was unbelievable.
Isn't that amazing?
How did that ball not get out?
I know. That looked like it was going out. It goes off the wall. The wind was blowing in a little bit, but he had a couple really good at-bats.
And even more impressive than the double was the walk against Andrew Miller, where he's patient. This is a guy that has not faced Major League pitching all season, and he goes in against the hottest pitcher in baseball, in Andrew Miller, and he works a walk out of him, watching the ball all the way through. You can tell Schwarber is comfortable at that plate. Yeah. And I listen, again, I always feel like I have to preface this. Not a Cub fan, so when I say this, understand. But I love the fact that he's in the middle of that lineup. It is
I've been saying for years I love Matt Carpenter. People think I'm a Cardinals fan. You can appreciate and like watching Schwarber. Other people. Schwarber is a professional hitter.
I would love it if he's with the White Sox next year and not the Cubs.
Not going to happen, probably.
I would love it if he's out of there.
If they want to offer him in a deal for Quintana or Sale, I'd definitely perk my ears up a little bit.
It would start the conversation, wouldn't it?
Cubs lineup is out. Dexter Fowler, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Ben Zobrist, Kyle Schwarber, Javi Baez, Wilson Contreras doing the catching, Jorge Soler in right, and Addison Russell is your shortstop. And in the 9-hole, they're getting offense in the lineup tonight. And I think they got a guy tonight, that Trevor Bauer, who has good stuff, but he walks a lot of people, and he's a fastball pitcher.
Right.
So I think you're going to have some opportunities against him tonight. I think the Cubs will bounce back. And if you do, you did your job.
Yep.
You bring it back home for Wrigley for 3 straight with a chance to close it out at home. But I like the Cubs' chances tonight. But if Cleveland wins tonight, all of a sudden, your back's against the wall.
Watch out. And it would be interesting to see what Cleveland would have to do to push Kluber to Game 5. I don't think he goes Game 5. I think Francona,
there's no doubt.
I think he's cemented him into 4 and 7, but it would be interesting if they're up 3-0. Do you go ahead and go Kluber on short rest in Game 4? We'll see.
How about Jason Hayward?
Yeah.
The $23 million man becoming a defensive replacement in the World Series. And I can't blame Joe Madden for it.
I don't either. And
it just doesn't help you right now.
I know I told you yesterday I got a buddy that didn't like that, but Hayward's he's just not doing it right now. And it is interesting because tonight Bauer's right. He's a righty as well. So you wonder, why not get that lefty-righty matchup? Solaire's right-handed. But you got to go with your gut. And Joe Madden right now understands that, hey, there's no reason Hayward can't come out of this in the offseason and try to figure out what the heck he's doing. Yeah. He needs to break his swing down immediately. I mean, he needs to go back to Little League.
Get away from baseball for a little bit.
He needs to get away for about a month and then go back to Little League drills and then slowly work his way back up. But it is interesting and it's telling to understand that he hasn't even started the first 2 games.
We're off a little early today because if you didn't know, we here at 93.5 are carrying the World Series on ESPN Radio, the national broadcast, our sister station, Sunny 95.3, which is the home of the Cubs all year. We also have to run ESPN's national broadcast. It's the same thing we've had to do here with the Cardinals once they get to the World Series because only the flagship can run the local broadcast. Everyone else has to run the national broadcast. I'm glad you
described that.
So
I'm glad you did.
So we will have it here on 93.5, but pregame starts at 5, so we're going to be out a little bit early.
Okay.
And I think they can talk about the World Series a lot better than we can, so It's not such a bad thing.
Amen.
But I'm pumped for this series now. I mean, we got a series. The Cleveland Indians are for real, and I think now people know that. It's not just some pushover for the Cubs to get crowned here, and it's going to be a fun series in my opinion. And I can't wait to talk about it with Illini pitching coach Drew Dickinson and break down what makes Kluber and Andrew Miller so good. Francona's use of that bullpen. John Lester, the throwing issues.
Yeah.
Not a huge deal last night, but it's interesting. We'll talk to a pitching coach about that, and we'll ask him who he likes more tonight. 2 struggling pitchers right now, Jake Arrieta and Trevor Bauer.
It's going to be fun. He's going to come in studio, and then at 4:30, we're going to get you ready for homecoming. It's going to be beautiful. It's hard to think about today when it's rainy and cool, but Saturday should be perfect as Illinois and Minnesota square up. We're going to visit with Ryan Burns from Gopher Illustrated to get some ideas on the Gophers.
Tracy Claeys is 1 win away from bowl eligibility.
Wow.
Right? I mean, this is an interim coach, turned head coach on a short-term deal, a lot like Bill Cubitt, but he got his year to coach.
He did.
Still sounds like Minnesota fans are not happy at all.
Really? I haven't heard this, so that's interesting.
They're 5-2, about to get to a bowl game. They probably will, get to 7 or 8 wins or something like that, and they're not happy with their coaching.
They think the other, what is it, the grass is always greener on the other side? Mm-hmm. Maybe you've got a guy. I mean, you've got a Jerry Kill disciple, essentially, and Jerry Kill, what's he done all over the place? He's won. So I think I'd be fine with Tracy Claeys.
We got some Illinois basketball news in the future. We'll talk about that. A couple recruiting notes we got to get to. We'll also talk about the Illinois football quarterback situation as well as we go forward. If you want to weigh in, you can. You can call the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line or text the Cheap Hour text line at 217-359-2255. That's 359-2255. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. Download the WSJK app and listen to us anywhere in the world on your smartphone. Get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us in iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Our intern today, Trevin Miller.
A lot to do. Get a hold of us. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
I've said before that it's hard to explain it to people who don't get it. Like when people who don't get it say to me, why is this stuff so important to you? I can't give you I'm not eloquent enough to verbalize the reason, but every now and again you see an example of it. Did you see Wrigley Field Saturday night when that third out was made? When that song started playing? Yeah. I mean, I'm 1,000 miles away, and you look at the faces of the people, and I've got a ton of friends in Chicago texting me pictures of their fathers at this game crying because they're in their 70s and they've waited their whole lives to see this. And, of course, the adorable Dorothy who's sitting there saying she's going to be drinking Jägermeister, and if anyone goes near her beer, she's going to punch them in the face.
Love it.
And so that would be what I would say. If anyone asks you, why does this stuff mean so much? Just show them that.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
Opportunity is knocking on your floor. Right now at the Home Depot, get great savings on the latest trends in flooring. Great looks for every room in your home. Wood, vinyl, and tile. Like Portland Stone Ceramic Tile, starting at just 78 cents a square foot. Modern, durable tile that gives you the beautiful, natural look of stone for the price of tile. But whatever you choose, hurry. Opportunity and these savings won't be knocking long. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through October 30th.
O'Reilly. Restore shine to your vehicle with great deals on select Turtle Wax products, now $4.99 at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Clean, shine, and protect your vehicle with Turtle Wax Carnauba Cleaner Wax or Wax and Dry Spray Wax for $4.99 each at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices, every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You know who's going to win the game, right? Now is the time to join the thousands of online players at MyBookie because due to popular demand, MyBookie is extending their 100% bonus offer for one more week. Just use promo code RADIO to activate the 100% bonus offer, but you have to act this week to get your 100% bonus. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They have in-game live betting, so you can even place a bet after kickoff. And unlike some other websites you might find, MyBookie offers fast, no-hassle payouts when you win. Real Vegas odds and incredible player props. And due to popular demand, for one more week, MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar, up to $1,000 when you use the promo code RADIO. So join now. Pull out your smartphone and sign up with their user-friendly mobile site. You play, you win, you get paid. Visit mybookie.lv or call 844-900-BETS and take advantage of the final week to get your 100% deposit bonus. Expert or rookie, you gotta check out MyBookie. Sign up today.
With over 6,000 firearms in-store and online, backed by our Best Price Plus guarantee, there's no better place to buy a gun than Gander Mountain. Add our knowledgeable sales associates and everything you need to secure your guns, and it's clear why Gander Mountain is America's firearms supercenter. This week, save up to $100 on select Ruger firearms, like the American handgun, now $429.99, and save 20% on 50-round CCI Blazer Brass 9mm ammo. We live for this. We live outdoors. Gander Mountain.
I'm the other Mike Madigan. I'm not that politician from Chicago. I grew up on our Champaign County farm, and I now own 4 Hickory River Smokehouse restaurants. So don't let my name confuse you. I'll term limit myself, fight for fair maps, and refuse the legislative pension. Most importantly, my first vote will be to get rid of the Chicago politicians that have brought our once proud state to its knees. My opponent has already voted for them once, and he'll do it again.
I'm former Sheriff Dave Madigan. My nephew is the other Mike Madigan. As you can imagine, our family has had some fun at his expense. But what Chicago Mike Madigan is doing to our state is no joke. The other Mike Madigan grew up on our family farm, owns Hickory River Smokehouse, and gives back to our community, including strong support for law enforcement. So on November the 8th, vote the other Mike Madigan for state senate.
You can send a message to Springfield. Send the other Mike Madigan. Send the right Mike Madigan. Send our Mike Madigan.
Paid for by the other Mike Madigan.
The hunt is on, and Gander Mountain has the best deals on the hunting gear you need. From guns and bows to camo and calls, we have all the new products from the best brands, plus Gander exclusives to take you from knockdown to drag out. So gear up at Gander Mountain and get after it. This week, save $40 on the Moultrie GM30i Trail Cam, now $99.99. Plus, Buck Bomb Deer Corn is just $4.99. Only at Gander Mountain. We live for this. We live outdoors. Gander Mountain.
Matthew 6:24 states, "No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one or love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Serve God, our Heavenly Father, and money will not be an issue. God will provide for you if you seek Him and serve Him by serving others. How can you serve the Lord today?" This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Florist.
The Blossom Basket Florist. The florist you pick.
Check out the new Honda BMW of Champaign, formerly Twin City Honda BMW, and still located in Savoy. These guys are crazy for used vehicles. Truckloads of pre-owned vehicles, 25 to 50% off the price of a similar new model. And not just Hondas and BMWs, cars, pickup trucks, and SUVs of all makes. Financing options on used cars as low as 1.9%. Just drive by Honda BMW of Champaign and you'll see from the street that this is a new dealership. Honda BMW of Champaign, online at drivechampaign.com. When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Jeremy Warner. This is your 3:30 Sports Update brought to you by InformedAthlete.com. Lovie Smith still mum on the quarterback situation for Illinois. One thing's for sure. Chase Crouch wasn't at practice yesterday. Wes Lunt and Jeff George were, though Lunt was not made available to the media. Jeff George Jr. was. He's preparing as if he'll make his second career start. But what he learned from his first start last week at Michigan.
I mean, everything's just an experience, and you learn, and obviously getting a first start and getting a full game under my belt, it's a great experience, and just using that to get a little bit more comfortable out there, and just more know what I'm doing, and just get better and better every day.
Saturday's homecoming kickoff against Minnesota is at 11 a.m. Big Ten Network will be there for their BTN tailgate show starting at 9:30. Illini 6-point underdogs against the Golden Gophers. Tonight's Game 2 of the World Series has been moved up an hour due to heavy rain expected in Cleveland. Indians took Game 1 in a 6-0 shutout. They're looking to spark their offense. Joe Madden has Wilson Contreras catching and Jorge Soler in right field. Trevor Bauer takes on Jake Arrieta for a 6:08 first pitch. You can hear the national ESPN broadcast here loud and clear on ESPN Radio 93.5. Illinois basketball heading back to Maui.
What?
The 2012 Maui champions will head back to the islands for the 2018 tournament, so that's 2 years from now. It'll include a field of Arizona, Auburn, Duke, Gonzaga, Iowa State, San Diego State, and Xavier.
Wow.
Illinois, though, has lost another recruit to SLU. The Billikens landed 2018 five-star post recruit and St. Louis native Cartier Gordon. Five-star recruiting target Chris Wilkes tweeted out today that he will make his decision in early November. Illinois, one of 3 finalists, along with Indiana and UCLA.
Good news. I'll be gone in early November. Great news. He's coming to Illinois, kids. Hey, Tay and J's College Game Day is back this Friday. We do it before every home game, and we do it on Green Street. It's always fun. Come join us. Weather should be perfect. We kick it off, Illinois, Minnesota. We'll do it from 3 to 6. Tay and J College Game Day, always made possible thanks to our great sponsors, JSM, the Champaign Center Partnership, Game Day Spirit, Chief Bauer, Busey Bank, Honda BMW, DP Doe, and Shambana Sales. It feels like we haven't done a Tay and J College Game Day in like 3 months.
It's been a while.
So we'll be there Friday. Come out and join us. It's always a good time.
So the Maui field in 2018.
Yeah, can you say that again?
Arizona.
Wow.
Duke.
They're going to be unbelievable.
Duke.
Always unbelievable.
Gonzaga.
Always good.
Illinois.
Uh-huh.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
San Diego State.
They've been really good lately.
Xavier.
Wow.
And the most interesting one to me.
Uh-oh.
Auburn.
What?
We could get a Bruce Pearl game.
Oh, no.
And Deion Thomas could be calling it.
You know Deion wants to go to Maui, right?
Yes.
He's not backing out of a trip to Maui just to not face off with that guy. Wow. That's interesting.
I hope that happens. That would be a phenomenal lead up to that.
Of course, we don't have the brackets.
Be the opening round game, please.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine?
I do want to point this out. The press release says the 8 Division I entries are all NCAA tournament regulars.
Okay. Well.
Illinois hasn't been. No, okay, but I'm pumped. Wait. My wife has been waiting for this to happen so she can go with me to Maui.
Awesome.
And cover this thing.
Good for her. And you got, what, Torrin will be about 3?
Yeah.
I'll watch him.
He might have a little something on the way.
Well, that's true.
He might have a little one. But Mama Warner's got to get to Hawaii. She's never been to Hawaii. It's her dream, so we might take her.
Okay, let's do that. And then I'll watch Torrin. He'll be 3. I don't know, though. Terrible.
For a whole week?
Yeah, I can do it.
He'll be like 3 by that. 2.5.
Listen, that's the age where they start catching things. I'm good there.
They can play catch?
I'm good. Are they wearing underwear at that age? Or do I have to still have to?
Close.
Okay. Well, he's wearing underwear that week. Yeah. We're not doing diapers.
So Illinois back in Maui. That's
awesome.
And by that year, you should be pretty good.
I was going to say.
You'll have Jalen Coleman-Lands as a senior, Michael Finke and LaRon Black as seniors, Aaron Jordan and DJ Williams as seniors. So you have a really strong senior class. You'll have Jeremiah Tillman, hopefully as a sophomore.
Right.
Trent Frazier as a sophomore. Tijon Lucas as a junior. Kipper Nichols as a junior.
Right. Wow.
I don't know what you'll have in the 2018 class, but that will be that will be John Gross's strongest roster.
Yeah, because DeMonte will be a sophomore as well. Yeah, I agree with you. That should be you're going out there to have a shot at, I don't know, winning it if Duke. Who knows what Duke's going to be like?
That's what you want to do. You want to play these good teams and be good yourself and see if you are good.
I started thinking there, NCAA tournament regulars, is there another team in that field
that
hasn't been to the tournament since Illinois?
Auburn hasn't. I don't think so.
Okay, so maybe Auburn and Illinois. Everybody else, San Diego State has. We know Duke, Gonzaga, all those teams have. That's interesting. That'll be fun.
That's good.
Wait, is Chaminade not in it?
Yeah, Chaminade is.
Oh, okay. I was going to say they're always in it, right?
Yeah, and they picked off who did they?
Yeah.
Because Illinois played Butler in the first round,
was it
right?
Arizona or Iowa State?
They picked off somebody.
Yes, they did.
Illinois got to play them in the second round, then they played Butler in the final.
Right. That's right. They played Carolina at some point, didn't they?
Man, they hit so many threes.
That was awesome.
And then they didn't hit any more.
Remember DJ had to hit a 3 to beat Hawaii?
Yes.
Like 2 nights before that started. So that was kind of one of those, we're only beating Hawaii by 2?
So, Lon, Travis Ford reportedly has a recruiting powerhouse down at SLU. He gets Jordan Goodwin, 2017 top 50 kid, and today he lands Cartier Gordon, who released his top 3 yesterday, of Kansas, Missouri, and SLU. And he picks SLU at 10:30 this morning.
Jeremy, I do not, and I mean this as you're looking at me right now, I could stand on whatever. I won't do that. I do not normally go in a bad direction when I think of recruiting. And what I'm talking about is the old green.
It definitely raises eyebrows, doesn't it?
This one, as soon as you said that, I'm like, what is going on down at St. Louis?
But I put myself in a SLU fan.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you're a SLU right now?
No.
Like, what if Southern Illinois was landing these kind of recruits? And I know SLU's in the A-10.
Yeah, it's different, but still.
It's a little better than Missouri
Valley's
Valley.
really made up ground, but you're right. No, I would be ecstatic.
Right.
I'd be ecstatic. I just would love to know how.
How does Travis Ford, who just got fired at his job?
He has no background. He has no history at SLU. He hasn't won one game yet at SLU, and yet he's pulling in 2 5-star or 1 4 and 1 5-star recruit.
Yeah. 2 guys that are probably going to be players of the year candidate right away.
Something, yeah.
Doesn't sound right.
Something is amiss.
I mean, if I'm the NCAA, I sit there and go, wait a minute.
It's not like, they had one other guy in their history. SLU did.
Larry Hughes?
Larry Hughes was the stud. Now, they've had good teams. They had great teams under...
Good coach with Majerus.
Absolutely. They went, NCAA like 3 straight years. I'm not saying SLU's not a good program, but they're not the kind of program that lands
where you're landing them over those kind of schools.
No, that's ridiculous.
It's pretty interesting.
How ticked off are you if you're a Kansas fan right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing is if you're Missouri. Obviously, this does not help Illinois. Illinois wants to recruit the St. Louis area. More, they want to keep that St. Louis metro area.
Sure.
The Belleville, East St. Louis, they got to recruit those kids. And obviously they took one from Belleville and Jordan Goodwin.
Yep.
But Illinois landed 3 of the 4 they wanted in that area. Obviously they don't land Cartier Gordon. They want to land Courtney Ramey out of St. Louis, a point guard that's a 5-star prospect.
I was scared to death that was the kid you were going to say.
Well, he could be it too. I mean, SLU's got it rolling.
They do
right now. But if I'm Missouri, that's your area.
Totally.
Right. I mean, Illinois is not going to land every kid out of Chicago, but they get kids out of Chicago.
And you're as low as you can get right now if you're Missouri.
Yeah.
And you're seeing, but I'd hate to equate, for instance, I always equate when Michigan football is not very good, Michigan State should capitalize. And they have, right? They actually have. And then we talked about it the other day. Now that Harbaugh's building that into a power again, I don't see Michigan State. I see them slowly dying a slow death, essentially, with regards to competing for Big Ten championships. I don't equate the same thing to SLU and Missouri. In other words, if Mizzou's bad, I don't see SLU all of a sudden becoming really good. SLU's never been in that equation.
No, but if SLU's good, it's probably not good for Missouri.
It's not at all. And now all of a sudden, Travis Ford is doing this after he just got fired at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
It's not like he decided, hey, I want to take that SLU job. That's a better job than Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
But maybe it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing something right.
Yeah.
Somebody down there is doing something right.
Also, Chris Wilkes tweeted out that he will make his decision in early November.
Why? Now I'm starting to get nervous about this.
I just get the feeling if he wanted Indiana, he would have picked them by now.
I agree.
So I feel like, I mean, UCLA's got that draw, that Hollywood draw, that one and done. I can go to UCLA, be on one of the best teams, even though they haven't been. UCLA could be one of the best teams on the West Coast. They've created one and dones. Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, they got that draw still. Illinois doesn't have that.
They don't.
Illinois is close to home.
Sure.
He loves this staff.
Okay.
So you got to hope the relationship with Jamal Walker, John Gross, the sell of playing the 3 position, where they'll have Jeremiah Tillman next to him, Jalen Coleman-Lands as a shooter, some other talented pieces around him. Well, he can be the star. You hope that wins out. But I think the draw of the Hollywood, the glitz, playing with, he could practice with pros out there.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how the UCLA draw has. But Illinois kind of hung in this longer than anybody imagined they would. I think Illinois got a stronger draw than anyone imagined it would. Indiana's got to be feeling
you're nervous,
terrible right now.
I agree.
Because if you don't land him, you don't land any of the top 4 guys in your state.
Wow,
that'd be like Illinois missing out on. But Indiana's got a little more cachet right now, of
no
course.
doubt.
But I mean, your in-state guys, you might not be able to land any of them. So it'll be interesting to see where this thing goes. But the draw to home for a one and done is it as big for a guy who's a 3 or 4 year player? Because in 2 years, that kid's not going to be close to home at all.
No, not at all.
He's going to be a 19-year-old.
He might be playing for the Lakers.
Yeah, he's going to be a 19-year-old making millions of dollars.
If Wilkes comes here, dare to dream with me. If Wilkes comes here, give me the lineup that year. That would be 2 years from now.
So that'd be 20. That'd be next year.
Mm-hmm. So you'd have either Lucas or Frazier at point guard.
Yeah, you'd have Lucas and Frazier at point guard. You have Jalen Coleman-Lands as a junior, Chris Wilkes freshman, LaRon Black as the 4, Jeremiah Tillman as the 5, Michael Finke, DeMonte Williams, DJ Williams, Aaron Jordan, Kipper Nichols.
So you're sending 2 5-star recruits out on the court every game. Your center.
I mean, you'd have some growing pains.
Yeah.
But there's enough veterans there, and Chris Wilkes is that good to where he'd be your best player from.
I need to YouTube him. I've never seen a bucket of him. I want to. Is he a lefty? I like lefties.
No, I don't think he
that's
is.
fine. That's fine. I won't shut him out.
I think
because
he'll be fine.
He's from Indiana. Are you kidding me?
Indianapolis.
Even better. Oh, that would be unbelievable. That would be a blow to Tom Crean.
Either way, if he goes to UCLA, that's better than going to Indiana.
And Alford's at UCLA, which is always an interesting thing. I don't know how much he leans on that Indiana background to recruit a kid like that, but it's there.
Well, he was at the Indiana for a visit, and he took a picture of Steve Alford and sent it to him via text message. He goes, "Hey, coach, here you are."
Why are your shorts so small and tight?
If you're going for Indiana, it's like, hey, you got a legend sitting there.
Oh my. And that is one thing Wilkes could be like, so Alford was a pretty good player? Yeah. Won a national title? Yeah, pretty good player. Pretty good player.
Hey, we're going to talk some more World Series with Illini pitching coach Drew Dickinson in studio at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll preview Illinois, Minnesota with Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated at 4:30. Coming up next, though, we'll talk a little bit about the Illini quarterback situation, also a little bit on Gabe Meganson.
359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
Versabar, a world leader in the development of heavy lifting solutions, is a proud sponsor of the Mike Ditka Show. Versabar is also a proud supporter of the University of Illinois and the College of Civil and Environmental Engineering, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Unity Rockets. To learn more about Versabar, just go to www.vbar.com. That's www.vbar.com. Versabar, the power of engineering delivered.
Holding the door for someone, writing thank you notes, sharing your umbrella when it starts to rain. These are the things you do because doing them just seems right. If you're looking for a Medicare plan, there's a company that shares your values, Health Alliance. We provide Medicare Advantage plans and customer service the way they ought to be provided, clearly, simply, affordably. And since we partner with local providers, you can keep seeing the doctors you already know and trust. Call 1-888-382-9771 and talk to a real person, not an automated phone system. Because talking to a real person who really wants to help you find the right Medicare plan just seems right. 1-888-382-9771. TTY 711, daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time. Health Alliance Medicare. Just seems right. Voicemail is used on holidays and weekends from February 15th to September 30th. The provider network may change at any time. You'll receive notice when necessary.
Hi, this is Stevie J. Coming this Friday morning at 7:10, join me for a major announcement regarding a programming change coming to Sunny 95.3. I'm so excited about this, I can't wait to tell you. Friday morning, 7:10 on ESPN 93.5 and Sunny 95.3. I'll tell you about a major programming change coming to Sunny 95.3. I'll talk to you then.
The
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
None of us can predict the future, but that doesn't mean we can't prepare for it. How will your family survive when you're gone? And how do you know if you have enough life insurance? Beacon Insurance makes it easy with their convenient life insurance calculator. Visit www.beaconinsurance.com/life calculator. Then talk to your local independent Beacon Insurance agency about a life insurance policy that will give you peace of mind and keep your family financially stable in the future. Life insurance from Beacon Insurance always goes beyond the expected.
Hey guys, this is Scott Miller, local McDonald's owner-operator, and we have partnered with Lovie Smith and the U of I football team to bring you some great deals at McDonald's. All you need to do is download the McDonald's mobile app, and if Illinois scores 21 points or more, then you get a coupon for a buy one, get one free 10-piece nuggets sent straight to your phone. You don't even have to be at the game to win. All you need to do is have the McDonald's mobile app. Again, just download the McDonald's app on the App Store or Google Play, and if Illinois scores 21 points or more, then you will receive a push notification for a buy one, get one free 10-piece nugget. Let's support our Fighting Illini football team and eat some nuggets while we're doing it. Go Illini.
Hi, I'm Gary Knight from Carmack Honda in Danville. Just 40 years ago, Carmack Honda delivered our first 1976 Honda Accord and has been recognized as an award-winning family sedan ever since. Safety, dependability, and fuel efficiency make people love their Hondas, and Cub fans love their Cubbies, and only a way Cub fans can believe. So when you're shopping for a new Honda, believe in Carmack Honda to get you the very best price, service, and selection. Check us out today at CarmackHonda.com.
Think you've got it bad when you don't get your favorite spot for tailgating? Early tailgating dates back to the Civil War era and the Battle of Bull Run. Imagine picking a stray musket ball out of your wife's guacamole dip. Tailgating's come a long way since that era, and the drinks have come a long way too. Be sure to grab your growlers and canned 4-packs from JT Walker's in downtown Mahomet. While you're there, be sure to grab some of JT's famous wings and stick around and catch all the NFL action on Sunday Ticket. JTWalkers.com.
You know who's going to win the game, right? Now is the time to join the thousands of online players at MyBookie because due to popular demand, MyBookie is extending their 100% bonus offer for one more week. Just use promo code RADIO to activate the 100% bonus offer, but you have to act this week to get your 100% bonus. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They have in-game live betting, so you can even place a bet after kickoff. And unlike some other websites you might find, MyBookie offers fast, no-hassle payouts when you win. Real Vegas odds and incredible player props. And due to popular demand, for one more week, MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar, up to $1,000 when you use the promo code RADIO. So join now. Pull out your smartphone and sign up with their user-friendly mobile site. You play, you win, you get paid. Visit mybookie.lv or call 844-900-BETS and take advantage of the final week to get your 100% deposit bonus. Expert or rookie, you gotta check out MyBookie. Sign up today.
Hi, I'm George Vargas, Republican candidate for state's attorney. I am an experienced trial lawyer, former Champaign cop, and a veteran of both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. I am committed to safeguarding our communities. I will do everything within my power to protect those who are most vulnerable amongst us and will prosecute those individuals who commit gun violence in our community to the fullest extent of the law. Champaign County can and will be a safe community once again.
Paid for by the committee to elect George Vargas for state's attorney.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Bunny's Tavern, your Cubs World Series headquarters. They had such great specials last night.
I wonder if they're doing that again. Ben, you need to call us. If you're doing the 60-cent wings again, they probably ran out.
Yeah, they had $7 pitchers last night.
Man.
I don't know what they got tonight because we weren't told. But they got some great food there.
They still have
some
beer
great
chili.
drink specials. 13 TVs inside and outside. They got the heated patio.
That's perfect.
So it's a perfect spot. Their food is great. The people there are great. Go watch the Cubs at Bunny's Tavern, your Cubs World Series headquarters.
It is the Tay and J Show. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. We've talked all about the Cubbies. We also talked some Illini basketball last hour. They're heading to Maui in 2018. So if anybody's making wedding plans and maybe want to honeymoon out during the Maui Classic, Don't laugh. People do that.
My wife is already
She's
booking.
planning the trip.
Yes.
I love it.
I don't know if you can book 2 years in advance to Maui, but we're going to try.
She's planning it. That was a great plan. I went there years ago. I went to Maui and loved it. And it'd be fun to go back and watch basketball.
So Illinois football is wearing their gray Ghost uniforms for this game. It did well against Minnesota 2 years ago for their homecoming game, but they're debuting the blue Gray Ghost helmets.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think of this one?
Let me look.
It's like, it almost looks Northwestern like.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's kind of chrome, black eye with chrome stripes.
Sorry, everybody.
It looks like a dark blue. It almost looks Northwestern.
I don't like it. I do not like it at all. And I loved the gray. What's wrong with just going all gray?
What if they win in them? That's all I care about.
If this was upsetting Michigan, the number 3 team in the country, then I would say wear the blue again. It's just nothing against Minnesota. They're probably the better team. No, I don't like them. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I just like if you're going to go all gray, go all gray.
So Lovie Smith, of course, doesn't really tell us much about the quarterback situation. We know Wes Lunt was in uniform, but he was in uniform last week and really didn't do anything. Jeff George did practice.
Okay.
But Chase Crouch was not at practice.
Got it.
I would be shocked if Chase Crouch returns this year.
Okay.
That shoulder injury was serious. Lovie Smith hasn't announced it yet, but if that quarterback is not at practice, it makes you think, where's he going? Why is he going there? Right. So we can speculate right now, but pretty sure he's going to be out for the season. And Wes Lunt, don't know how that back situation is going to be quite yet. So it sounds like Jeff George Jr. might be your favorite to start another game this weekend.
I bet he's chomping at the bit. I heard his little blurb there in your sports update. I bet he's chomping at the bit to get back in there. Number one, at home, and you're not facing 100 and whatever thousand arguing against you, but also against a Minnesota team that isn't Michigan. I bet you anything he's really looking forward to getting back in there and getting one more start, especially not having to sit out a game or two. And if West would get hurt again and then he comes back in, he'd love to get another start immediately.
I mean, for me, I don't think Jeff George is the quarterback of the future, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested in seeing how does he go from one start to the next start. Going from the top defense in the country to a defense that's good, but not great.
Not Michigan.
Not near what Michigan is. So I am interested to see how Jeff George does if he does make that second start. Garrick McGee met with the media this week, and he had a lot of great stuff. I asked him about Gabe Meganson. He talks about the tight end position, a little bit about the wide receivers, but of course he was asked about the quarterbacks. And here's what he said about Jeff George's performance to start it out.
So for the most part, I was really nice. We turned the ball over twice. Which you can't do. We were coming out, that's interception on the screen. Then he fumbled a snap. He was trying to check on a play that just trust me and run the play. It probably would have been a huge play. But besides that, I mean, he's competitive. Kids like him. He's an accurate passer. He's shown he's stand in the pocket and still keep his eyes downfield, deliver the ball down the field. So I'm happy with Jeff moving forward.
Got any hints as to who will be your quarterback this week? Who will be available? Let's put it that way.
No, Jeff will be available.
Okay.
I know that. He's available. He's fired up. He wants to get a week better. And get out there and complete some passes.
You said back in August that if Wes could play every snap, if he's healthy, that'd just be the ideal situation. How have you guys just handled having to play 3 quarterbacks in 3 straight weeks?
Well, it's a process because the game plans keep changing, and the style of play that we have to play, to give ourselves a chance keeps changing. You always wish you had one guy so you can get into a rhythm with the game plan, with the style of offense you're going to play, with the plays you're running. But when you go from Wes to Chase, then to Jeff, those are 3 different styles of quarterback. So you have to be, try to be really creative. Try to be the same, but you have to be different. So you have to be really creative.
What do you need to see out of Gabe Meganson going forward?
Just development. Yeah, just overall fundamental development. That's pretty much it. That's how it is with most linemen. But with him being a young kid that's going to be here for a while, we're going to expect a lot out of him as we build our program. So I want to see, daily development in regards to his fundamentals, his technique, and doing what he's coached to do.
What strengths has he shown?
That he's a good lineman. When he's focused and he's doing what he's coached to do. We selected him as one of our starting 5 to begin the season, so we like him a lot. and we think he's going to be a big part of our future, as we develop our program. We just need to see them all develop.
Talk about tight ends.
They need to play better.
Getting the receivers that we hope for. I mean, the numbers of catches.
Yeah, they need to play better. They're not. They know. I'm not telling you anything that I don't tell them. Andrew, to a man, we've talked about it. He didn't have a very good game at all. We had some runs out there that we had him matched on the defensive back and blocking at the point of attack, which could have cracked the ball for 35 or 40 yards. That kid was more competitive, came off both blocks, made play for 2 yards. So he needs to play better. The other three need to be a lot more consistent so that they can get out there. Because we can't sustain anything right now because of inconsistencies. So we're trying to keep the most consistent guys we have on the field so that we can sustain some drives. So the other guys just need to show that they're going to be consistent and do what they're coached to do.
I know they kind of knew what they signed up for a little bit, maybe not as bad as they thought it wasn't as bad as it was going to be. But Garrick McGee's got to be so frustrated.
Well,
right
he
now.
didn't sign up for 3 different quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, and I don't think he knew the tight ends weren't going to be this bad or the wide receivers were going to be this bad. I mean, I didn't expect them to be this bad.
I didn't either.
I mean, that's the worst group of tight ends and wide receivers, I think, in the Big Ten. And I don't think there's a lot much more he can do about it.
No.
I think he could have moved to a more spread scheme earlier after seeing what he had in the spring. But at the same time, it's like, what does that guy do?
Right.
But the interesting stuff about the quarterbacks, of course, Jeff George Jr., we'll see what we got in this game coming up. The Gabe Meganson thing's interesting.
Yes.
This is a 4-star recruit. I expected struggles this year, and he's a big physical guy. I think he'll be good, but he's been really inconsistent.
That quote told me we're playing for the future. I mean, and now they always do,
right?
But a lot of times you don't hear that. He's basically saying, look, I mean, we want to see him develop because he's one of the best 5 we got, and he's going to help our program down the road.
But he's not right now.
No.
So they're putting Connor Brennan, who's not a part of the future, he's a senior, to start right now because they're sending him a message.
No doubt.
And I talked with Gabe yesterday, and he said, message received.
Wow.
He said, I got to focus more on technique. I get out there, and I just don't do the things that I'm coached to do.
Interesting.
So it sounds like Gabe is taking it to heart. And he knows that even though he's a 4-star recruit, that it's not going to be easy right away.
No.
So he understands that, hey, this isn't going to keep me from having a great career, but I got to learn from my mistakes that I've made so far. Listen, Nick Allegretti, who's your best offensive lineman right now, couldn't do enough to start last year. Right. He was a redshirt freshman.
So Meganson's already a little bit ahead of him with regards to that.
Gabe has played. Maybe he had a little bit better options last year.
Right.
But Allegretti is now probably your best offensive lineman. So I would expect Gabe to take a big leap, but this is a big point for him. He's got to improve. We'll see if he gets out there on the field because I don't think he barely played against Michigan.
If that was his response, message received, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that idea. All right, next hour is going to be a little guesty. Illini pitching coach Drew Dickinson. He's going to join us in studio. We're going to talk all about World Series and all the pitching going on there. And, of course, Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated, at 4:30. We'll get you ready for the homecoming tilt between Illinois and Minnesota. We'll hear about the Gophers with Ryan. It is all next. It is the Tay and J Show. Bunny's Tavern is your home for the 2016 Cubs postseason run. Nothing beats watching baseball over an ice-cold beer. So enjoy $13.50 mix and match domestic buckets and $6 PBR pitchers 7 days a week. You'll catch every minute of Cubs playoff action on Bunny's 13 big screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the largest heated patio in Urbana. With delicious daily lunch and dinner specials, Bunny's Tavern is the perfect spot to settle in for a historic postseason run. Bunny's Tavern, your home for the 2016 Cubs postseason.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola is your local furniture expert. They've been in business over 50 years and their sales team has over 150 years of experience. They carry everything you need to furnish your whole house with top name brands such as Broyhill, Lane, Ashley, Smith Brothers, Bemco mattresses, and Mohawk carpeting. Their showroom is huge with over 30,000 square feet of furniture. Stop by Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola today or visit kelseyfurniture.com, K-E-L-S-E-Y, Kelsey Furniture, or like them on Facebook. Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
Whether you're looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle, you can count on the winning team at Sullivan Park Hill. Check out the all-star lineup of Cadillac and Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs. Score big with Sullivan Park Hill's exclusive Q-certified 100,000-mile warranty. Let's drive home a winner in your new vehicle today. For the best in sales, service, and collision repair, it's Sullivan Park Hill, off I-74 between Neal and Prospect, Champaign.
Sullivan Park Hill, let's drive!
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
From New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. Donald Trump getting back to his busy campaign schedule.
I'm asking today for the honor of your vote and the privilege to represent you as your president.
Just beginning a speech moments ago in North Carolina on economic renewal for America's inner cities after taking a break earlier today to open a new luxury hotel in D.C. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
Technically, the ribbon cutting at the new Trump International Hotel, not far from the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue, was a non-campaign event. But Donald Trump says the project, under budget and ahead of schedule, is a metaphor.
It had the foundation for success. All of the elements were here. Our job was to restore its former glory, honor its heritage, but also to imagine a brand new and exciting vision.
Trump asked voters to dream big and bold. Outside, there were protests led by labor unions who want Trump to negotiate with employees at his Las Vegas hotel. Lisa.
Meantime, Jared, Hillary Clinton holding 2 rallies in Florida as she celebrates her 69th birthday.
Things are going to change no matter what. The real question is, what kind of change are we going to have?
She calls the new Trump hotel the same old story, saying he used undocumented workers.
Listen to this. A half of all undocumented immigrants pay federal income taxes, which means they pay more federal income taxes than Donald Trump has paid for 20 years.
Someone took a hammer to Trump's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. A man claiming responsibility says he wanted to auction off the star to raise money for Trump's sexual assault accusers. Mixed finish on Wall Street. The Dow up 30 points. The S&P slips 3 points. The NASDAQ down 33. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years. So I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
Your personal success takes a financial partner who values it as much as you do. Learn more at TIAA.org. An important message from Medicare.
I found a better deal on prescriptions.
I found a new plan with lower costs.
It's Medicare Open Enrollment. Have you compared plans yet? Who knows what you might find?
Check out your options at Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
You never know unless you go.
Medicare Open Enrollment, October 15th through December 7th. Brought to you by the Department of Health and Human Services.
Apocalyptic. That's how one mayor is describing earthquake damage in central Italy. First, a 5.4 quake, then a 6.1 aftershock, crumbling buildings and rattling a wide area, including Rome. 2 injuries reported just 2 months after a quake that killed nearly 300 people. The U.S. defense chief, facing congressional outrage, makes a move to stop a controversial decision.
I've ordered the suspension of all efforts to collect reimbursement from affected California Guard members.
Secretary Ash Carter says that suspension will be in effect until he's sure a new process is working. This stems from an audit that found overpayment of enlistment bonuses to Guard members. Some in Congress say a legislative fix may be needed, but Carter says the suspension is within his authority. Cuba's foreign minister giving a speech at the UN that amounts to a victory lap.
El mandatario estadounidense.
As for the first time in 25 years, the U.S. abstained instead of voting against a resolution that criticizes the U.S. embargo against Cuba. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, says the two nations must continue to engage despite their differences, calling today's move another small step.
May there be many, many more, including, we hope, finally ending the U.S. embargo once and for all.
Something Cuba critics in Congress still oppose. The Chicago Cubs will try to bounce back tonight in Cleveland, where the Indians shut them out in Game 1 of the World Series. The start time for tonight's Game 2 has been moved up an hour to 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox because of rain in the forecast. And we're just getting word that rapper Coolio has been sentenced to 3 years supervised probation after pleading guilty today to bringing a concealed firearm to Los Angeles International Airport last month. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Need a furnace expert? Call Chief Bauer Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, a low of 40 degrees. Tomorrow, high 55, a low of 40. Friday, mostly sunny, high 69, low of 59. Gets warm over the weekend, 76 for homecoming kickoff on Saturday against Minnesota. Right now, cloudy, mostly rainy throughout the area, 52 in Champaign-Urbana.
And it's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner, getting you ready for Game 2 of the World Series tonight, which you'll hear right here on ESPN 93.5. Of course, you'll hear it as well as you did all year on our sister station, Sunny 95.3. Both stations, though, Jeremy, will have the national broadcast because only the flagship station can carry their own announcers. It was the same thing when the Cardinals were on. You didn't hear John Rooney and Mike Shannon. So it's the national broadcast, ESPN.
And with the game moved up an hour because of the inclement weather, possible in Cleveland tonight, they're trying to get that game in. It'd be terrible to, postpone a World Series game. So that game will start at 6, but pregame starts at 5, so we're off an hour early.
I was shocked, before we bring in our guest, I was shocked that they made that quick of a decision on it. But there's so much money on. I mean, there's somebody spent $5,000 for a ticket for tonight,
and it sounds like it's going to downpour. At some point tonight, like at 9 or 10 o'clock.
So those guys know a lot more than we do. So they made the decision. It's time to talk some World Series, talk some pitching, and as we always do, we bring in Illini pitching coach Drew Dickinson. He's a Cubs fan. Let's say it right off the get it out of there. But I mean, listen, let's start with that. What was it like for you getting that NLCS victory and knowing the Cubbies are going to the World Series for the first time in your life?
It was awesome. I was right where I wanted to be in front of my TV, just me and my wife. As a longtime Cub fan, it was something like I'd rather just be alone about it.
Amen.
It really was. Honestly, I cried. I've cried at Cubs games. Baseball makes me very emotional.
That's awesome.
And I think that's why I love the game so much, because it moves me to that. But it was an awesome feeling. And what was crazy about it, you started feeling those goosebumps literally in the third inning because it's 4-5-0. This game's over with. The crowd's juiced up.
Yes.
The Dodgers knew it was over with. You could just tell. They're just going to throw everybody at you. And it was just literally counting the outs down. But for this time, actually counting the outs, knowing it's going to work out in your favor, like 0-3. But it was a great feeling, and it's just, like I said, it's a next step. Last year was a step to NLCS. Sure. This year's a step to the World Series. They win. Awesome. They don't. We'll be back hopefully the next couple of years.
Does your Cubs fandom flash before your eyes? Do you think of Mark Grace? What goes through
favorite player?
Yeah, what goes through your head when you're thinking oh my gosh, we're going to the World Series. I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You know what? I was saying this to you guys off the air. What's different to me is this. It's not like this team oh my God, I can't believe the Cubs made this run and here we are. No, we have this control over these young arms, young position players, and have the money then, the resources obviously to buy whoever we want.
Yep.
And players are pretty animate and knowing that I love to come to Chicago and help do this. And so knowing you have that now, it's not guaranteed. Look at the Nationals, been favored how many years, and they can't do it. The Cardinals can't get past the Cardinals in the wild card or the division round. But knowing that this club is going to be together for the next 5, depending on pitching 6, 7, 8 years, it's what we win. Awesome. I honestly feel like we'll be back. We'll keep getting back, and we'll just be even better. But like you said, then again, you never know, so you want to win it. But it's just exciting to watch the games and knowing that I'm watching Cubs baseball, almost into November.
Yes.
I was telling my dad before this, I was like, it's awesome. Every day is like an event to me. Like, I can't wait. I got a game to watch tonight. It's like so exciting. We're Cardinals fans. They have that every single year. And we're done. October 3rd. But no, this has been fun.
Yeah, and it could seep into November if it would go 7. I want to ask the hardest question I think I've ever asked. What one player you think has made the biggest impact in this Theo run towards where they're at now with the Cubs?
Wow, that's a great question. And I hate to be cliche, so I don't think it's any one guy because you're going to have a guy like Lester who brings all the experience from the postseason experience and pitching in big games to the pitching staff because nobody else had it.
No.
And then you got Ross who brings it, who obviously was paired up with them, brings it from the position player standpoint. One of the big reasons why they had to bring him in, obviously because of Lester, but he brings all his postseason experience to a group of youngsters who have zero experience.
Right.
And they look up to him as a father figure and whatnot. So it's tough because they're so young. I think they all look to one guy, and they look to those old guys to lead them, and they've had the right leaders in there.
Yeah.
That it's worked out. And what you see now is those 22, 23, 24 guys becoming leaders right in front of your eyes, like a Baez. Like how much now he's getting a little too much right now for me with this jumping around, doing the stand next to Rizzo while he's catching a fly ball. He's that comfortable. It's like, let's pump the brakes a little bit here,
just a little
before you pull a Josh Tollum, drop the ball in left field. So, but it's been good.
So last night had to be frustrating, but Corey Kluber, we just went over it the last 3 years. I don't know if you're wins above replacement guy, but he's number 2 behind Clayton Kershaw.
Wow.
The last 3 years. So that's how good he is, and the Indians needed him to be that good last year.
Yeah, if you put everything on paper, bullpen, lineup, speed, power, pitching, starting pitching, Cubs starting pitchers was resounding. Oh, they have a huge advantage.
Easy.
Except for Kluber being the guy. And you could argue Kluber's even with Lester, he's even with Arrieta, he's even with Hendricks as far as like who would you take, right? Yeah. But he had that good last night, and it was when guys do that. It was and actually Lester, besides a 12-minute, 12-pitch stroke he had there in the first inning, it was like his stuff was good last night.
Really
Usually
good.
he's a guy who four-seamer cut it in. Yeah, his ball was sinking, and it was like almost like to the point in the first inning he actually couldn't control it.
Right.
But his stuff was good last night. But when Kluber doing stuff like that, you just tip your cap and say, "Man, good luck."
What makes him so good?
Well, 3 pitches for strikes for one, but he had a good 2-pitch mix going last night. Literally running that two-seam. You guys talking about the two-seam fastball back, but guys kept butt out, thinking there was a hit in the hip, front hip in that fastball, because you had to respect that slider or cutter that was come in you and shatter your bat. So, and plus you command the baseball. You command the baseball. I don't care how hard you throw, relatively for the most part. You command the baseball, you're going to win a lot of games.
I think that's neat to always hear that from guys that know, like you. Pitching coach Drew Dickinson joining us here. How command is? Would you rather have a guy that threw 85 with command or a guy that threw 98?
You're asking the 85.
Yeah,
with
that's
command.
tough.
I know.
That's tough. If Kyle Boddy from Driveline Baseball was here, we say that he'd be going 98, 98, 98 because it's all about velo these days, right?
Right.
But,
it seems like it.
Yeah, I mean 85 is a stretch.
Okay,
command, but let's 98 guy literally can't throw a strike, then it's pointless, right?
Yeah.
But command lets you get. Command is one thing, but velo lets you get away with so many other things.
Right.
But when you get to a certain level. Velo is velo. I mean, in the big leagues, everybody's throwing 95 plus out of bullpen anymore.
Amen.
And if you watch a guy, you're like, what makes that a good guy? Well, he throws 95, 97, and he puts it in quadrants, up in the corner, all 4 quadrants. And that guy makes him who he is and whatnot. Chapman is just because it's 102, 103 is just a whole different level when it comes to what it's like to react to it. Fastball 993, it's all the same. And then 94 is a whole other clip. You're like, whoa, it's just on me that faster, 94, 95, 96. And then with each increment of mile per hour, it just kind of makes it that much faster. You have to start.
Yeah.
And it's just, no matter how much you see it, it's tough to time that up.
That's why you see a lot of check swings with Aroldis, right? Because they're like, well, I got to start. I got to start here, and we'll see what happens.
Right, and like him, he's 90% fastball, and you're like, but you're trying to say, it might be above the zone. You try to check. Ugh. That's why maybe so that left against San Francisco when who was it? Guy at the glasses hit the ball in the gap off of 103 pole side.
Right.
You're like, what?
He started swinging
that's literally just a flip a coin and say, this is my spot. But tip your cap.
Andrew Miller wasn't very good most of his career. What changed? What did he figure out?
You got into a role, really. You draft a guy. Was he first overall, right, for the Tigers?
He's a high pick.
Yeah, he was a top 5 pick. But over, top 5 pick to the Tigers, you don't draft those guys saying, hey, he's gonna be my pen. No, this guy's going to be my starter. And even when he goes through growing pains, you continue to put him out there as a starter because we got to work through this because, we paid him a lot of money as a signing bonus, but this is what you do. They get more out there. first rounds, you're 40 more opportunities to suck, really.
Yeah, sure.
And, and finally, then they got rid of him. Then he went to Baltimore, and he saw this, like, out of the bullpen. You're like, whoa. Velo spikes up, just lose a change, lose a curveball, just a slider, and you're like, this angle and mechanics, and you're like, that's nasty. And then he goes to Boston, does the same thing, and you're like, well, there it is. And now, and it's great how Tito's using him, because he's using them as they would do it like in the 70s when Gossage and those guys would throw 150 innings. You're like, hey, same situation isn't the ninth inning necessarily. It could be in the sixth. Although last night he kind of put himself into that trouble. I actually was surprised they pulled Kluber after one guy got a hit, because that guy's been dominant all day.
Yep.
But they did, and he found his way out of it.
I wanted to ask you, because some Cubs fans are like, oh, we had good approach against him. They had some good at-bats against him.
Surely.
But is that more encouraging for the rest of this series, or is it more like we missed our opportunity?
No. I mean, you look at Schwarber's at bat when he walked. I don't think people understand how unbelievable AB that was.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, he's did a lot of things that people don't know about, what's going on. I mean, I talked to some people I know in the Cubs organization about some stuff that he's done to get back. People don't understand how much he's gone through, that he's ready to go. But you're still stepping the box
right.
in a World Series game against left-on-left Andrew Miller, and he took every pitch like he knew it was coming.
Amen.
And even the one he struck out, he just missed those two sliders. Like he knew it. You could tell him, like, kind of yelled at himself. He knew he missed a pitch. That happens, right? It's baseball, Yeah, and he didn't have his great stuff last night. So yeah, you're like, man, I wish we could have got to him. But your bases loaded, you're still going to need a hit or two to get the tie of the game. And that's what good pitchers do, man. They find a way out. He put himself in trouble and he got himself out of it.
If you're Terry Francona tonight, do you use Miller again? Is there no hesitation to use Miller, or is there a little bit of hesitation knowing he threw that many pitches?
That's on him. That's on Miller saying, hey, I feel good tonight, Tito. I'm good. I got you 3 outs. I got you 2 outs. I got you an inning.
Did you guys have to do that with Tyler J?
I do that with everybody.
Yeah.
You always ask guys, like, hey, what do you got today? If a guy says, hey, what do you got for me on this is Sunday? What do you got for me? You got an out? And I got 3 hitters, Drew. I'm good to go for an inning.
That's
good.
Cool.
Because if I know that, then I can start piecing. It's a third inning, and I'm piecing the game in the 7th already.
Oh,
because you got to think ahead. So I got this guy. This situation arises. I go bang bang for 2 lefties, then righty, and then we got a guy we want for the full inning who's fully rested. So you always ask guys. You want to put guys in situations.
So you guys aren't just spitting sunflower seeds.
No, not at all. We're actually trying to use our brain a little bit. But that's why talking about the weather, that's why this game is so big. As a Cub fan, this game cannot be rained out.
Ooh, good call.
Because if it's rained out, Miller for sure is ready to go tomorrow, and then Cubs could be going. You still have to take the lead for Miller to be effective, right?
Right.
If we're winning 1-0, 2-0 Cubs, whatever, take the lead, then Miller's ineffective. But if they get the lead in the 6th inning, he's going to go 2 innings again. Then it's a flip of a coin for getting Cody Allen or whatnot.
Yeah.
You're down 2-0 going home. I don't care how good you think you are. That's tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
I want to ask you. You mentioned about the use of the bullpen going back to the Gossage days. You saw it with the Dodgers with Kenley Jansen. Is this only a postseason thing, or do you think this is going to carry on? Like,
that's a good question.
Do you think Major League they're going to stop going 1 inning? They might go 2 innings for a guy and then sit him for a day and then come back to him for that.
Nope, we'll not carry on. We'll be back to status quo because you're playing every day. You're playing 28 days out of 30. You can't run Kenley out on a Monday for 2 innings and then he don't get to pitch till Thursday.
Right.
What about Tuesday, Wednesday? We go 1 and 2. Doesn't really matter. In the series, the way it's with these days off, you know that I can go this day, and then we're off a day, and that day off in relievers is huge, right? And they're used to working back to back anyway, and it's all about stress and how many pitches he rolls up. So so that day off hits anymore in the postseason, they're not going to let him go 60, 70 pitches. They're going to go 50 max. Miller about mid his max. They said it was like the most pitches he's thrown in I don't know how long this season, but. So that day off hits, it's like a reboot.
What do guys do? So they play tonight, let's say, Miller, whether he pitches or not. What do they do on that day off? Do they get out and throw a bullpen session?
They won't throw a bullpen session, but as a reliever, you're still playing catch.
Okay, you're catching.
You have your daily throwing program. If you're a pitcher, you should play catch every single day.
Long toss or just catch?
It depends. If I'm John Lester last night, I started right. I threw about 90 pitches. Then today, it's a big lower body lift day. Some cardio stuff, kind of flush, and then he's gonna play catch.
Yeah.
Now for me in college, in pro ball, it changed a little bit because pro ball was 5-man rotation I was on instead of basically once a week in college. I threw long toss the next day because my arm was never sore the day after my start. It was sore 2 days after.
Interesting.
I pitched Friday. I was sore on Sunday, sore to a point where it was like I needed a little pump the brakes a little bit. Saturday was I throw long, and then Sunday was like 90 feet day. It's all player specific. You understand your routine, what you can and can't do. But Miller's out there throwing throwing his normal throwing program, doing his running that they do, the sprint work and stuff like that. No, that's the stuff that nobody sees because nobody understands. Game's 7:00. Pitchers are stretched on the field at 2:30.
Wow.
But they just show up and they have the greatest life. Like they're putting so much work in that you don't understand what they're doing behind the scenes. But
especially a guy like Arrieta who takes care of him.
Amen.
So, John Lester throwing to first has been a big topic. For how good is as a pitcher, it doesn't really matter because he's getting people out. Like if they get to second, it doesn't matter that much. But have you ever seen people experience that, like that you've played with or you've coached?
Kevin Duchesne.
Yeah,
really.
Kevin Duchesne pitched for 3 years first. I think he picked over twice in 3 years.
Wow, I didn't
and nobody
know that.
noticed that. Well, he never gave me base runners either.
Exactly.
But he was also that's a great comparison because he was actually fairly quick to the plate still anyway, and he could hold runners and change his time. So he wouldn't come up like 1/1000 go to the plate.
Right.
Look at him. 4 seconds, 2 seconds, change runners. You put a base runner in quicksand over there, he ain't going anywhere.
No.
That's when you look at Lester. They got 32% clips throwing out runners. That's one of the highest in baseball. Mm-hmm. Hendricks and Arrieta get their butts run off all the time. Mm-hmm. You still have to get a good jump. He holds runners. What he's doing actually is so impressive because when guys have faults like that, their whole life crumbles.
Yes.
I mean, Chuck Knobloch couldn't throw. He was a great hitter. Steve Sachs couldn't throw to first base. Can't hit no more.
Mm-hmm.
That he can still pitch as good as he is to dish and home plate and be able to separate is unbelievable fortitude to his mental strength is unbelievable.
That's funny. Mackie Sasser was another one. I think catcher.
Did you try to fix it with Kevin, or did you just?
No. I mean, you just say, okay, that's fine. Then don't worry about it. That's we're not going to sit there and harp on your negative. Let's harp on your strength here. Your strength is you get dudes out.
Yep.
And the guy gets on first base. First of all, they don't know that.
Right.
If you hold runners, when I say hold runners just ain't making picks. Hold runners is changing your delivery, slide step, and just changing your times to home plate as far as 4-second hold, all that kind of stuff. That's holding the running game, and you don't need to have a good pickoff move. I still think Lester's got. I would love that he's been working on this stuff like all summer.
Yeah.
And then he's just waiting until Game 7. This guy's like 30-foot lead, and he's like,
bam!
Gone. We win the World Series.
Just an absolute bullet over to first base. Illini pitching coach Drew Dickinson joining us talking World Series. We're going to talk to him a couple more minutes.
That'd be the longest cat and mouse game ever.
Right?
But he had it for the right time, though.
It was kind of like Matt Carpenter. Never swing on first pitch until he hit the home run in the last day of the season.
Isn't that amazing? All right, speaking of home runs, Kyle Schwarber returns, hit an absolute bomb. I know we talked a little bit about his at-bat earlier. What does that mean just for the psyche of the Cubs to get a guy like that in the middle of that order?
I mean, obviously it's a power bat. The biggest thing, it's a left-handed power bat.
Right.
When they have one left-handed pitcher, and that's Andrew Miller. That's it, right? Which, it was funny, I was talking to this exact situation with our SID people yesterday. Like, oh, what do you think about this? Because they're having a little argument about it. And I go, hey, man, he's ready to go. I know for sure he's ready to go. I talk to people. And it's a sentimental, like, no, man, he's ready to go, and he can help.
Yes.
I go, the only left-handed pitcher the guy is Miller. I go, he ain't going to face him anyway. He faced him twice last night, which is amazing. And he had 2 great at-bats, and so you're like, wow, that was impressive. And then they go, almost go bridge last night. You're like, come on, man. If he hits a homer, that's folklore type stuff already.
Storybook ending.
It is.
To a storybook
and he's that good. And it's just like, guy can hit,
Yep.
period. Guy get out of bed can hit. So,
what do you think of tonight's matchup, Jake Arrieta and Trevor Bauer?
Again, if it's not Kluber, Cubs have just an insane advantage of starting pitching. Jake's struggled a little bit. He's been good, but he's put us in this warped style of thinking that because he's so good, he's kind of held to a different standard now. But I like to see him go out and dominate and get a little bit what he was like last year and beginning of this year. But
is it just location for him?
Yeah, he's actually trusting that cutter, and actually sometimes his fastball is kind of he has a good 2-seam fastball that run back, and he hasn't been able to command it in the sense of command the strike zone. Guys be able to take it and it's running off the plate for a ball running down the bottom of the zone. So, pound the strike zone. It's cold. So if he needs to pound the strike zone early, they'll be able to expand later and be okay.
And Trevor Bauer, he walks a lot of guys. He's a fastball pitcher, right?
Yep.
Yeah, night they can feast.
Yeah, he's a quirky dude. I feel like you can get in his brain, his dome real quick. Fly some drones around him or something. But I mean, obviously, he's quirky, because he has his own stuff that he does that he's done, and obviously the fellow teams couldn't take it, so they got rid of him. And Indians, give him credit, they let him do his thing. And,
sure.
Guys get to a certain point, let him do their thing.
Yeah.
Cubs got the advantage in that one, but again, it's baseball, so it doesn't really matter.
When a guy's warming up, like Jake Arrieta, and you mentioned he does have that 2-seam that'll sneak back in. Will he understand in warm up and tell Contreras, let's don't go to that very often. It's not working for me. Or do they need to get into the game and actually see it?
Well, every fastball he throws basically is a two-seamer, actually. Yeah. He doesn't really throw four-seam fastballs. People understand that. It's like every fastball has run back. It just changes what side of the dish he's throwing it to.
Gotcha.
But you do understand, like, okay, in warm-ups, hey, this is struggling a little bit. So we're gonna have to find a way. If we can't get it, we got to see if we can get it going. Because if we can get it going in the game, then we can have it for the second or third time through the lineup. Right. It's basically like a new pitcher, right? So, but if you can get that going, the thing is, we got to find a way to get it going without hurting ourselves,
Fair
right?
enough.
Is a situation where this is where I can see if I can get a feel for it. If I find it though, you see a lot of times that don't let this guy find his breaking ball. If he finds it, we're done.
Right.
You know,
got it. That's good stuff, man. Drew Dickinson, Illini pitching coach. You drove all the way here. We're only using you for about 25 minutes. You're our Andrew Miller. We're using you like a quarter of the show here. But we appreciate it. We love having you talk baseball. We'll probably maybe try to get you back on before this World Series ends. Are you going to try to get Chicago in case they – well, I know they're going back to Chicago. Are you going to try to sneak up?
You know, it's okay. I mean, I have some people I could ask. And honestly, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
I know it's a big deal for me. It's like my wife's like, just exhaust everything your strings. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. You know, they have so many people asking for tickets. It's like those guys have their families. The players have their families. That's fine. It's different. Regular season's one thing. Postseason's different. You know, I'm actually just content being in front of by myself with my wife in front of the TV and be able to take in every moment of it.
That's
awesome.
It's
been great.
That's great stuff. Thank you so much, Drew.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Great stuff. Talking World Series baseball with Drew Dickinson. I could do that all hour for sure. But we're going to get you caught up on Illinois and Minnesota. Get you ready for that. Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated. He will join us when we return to talk homecoming football. It is the Tay and J Show.
3 people in this county are dead that shouldn't be. I'm George Vargas, and I'm running for state's attorney because too many times our state's attorney has allowed dangerous criminals to roam the streets instead of being behind bars where they belong. Why must law enforcement catch the same criminal over and over again? Why are hardened criminals allowed second and third chances to kill? Go to my website, electgeorgevargas.com, and you will be shocked at what our current state's attorney has allowed. I'm George Vargas, asking for your vote as your next Champaign County state's attorney.
Paid for by the committee to elect George Vargas for state's attorney.
Snow blows, and Champaign Sales will keep it blowing all winter long with powerful Boss V plows and Aaron snow blowers that will throw snow up to 50 feet away. Need that extra boost on your V plow? Champaign salt spreaders will keep that ice melting all winter long. For Boss plows and Aaron snow blowers, plus service on all major brands, get to Champaign Sales and Service, 3310 North Mattis, just north of I-74. Blow and melt that snow away this winter with ChampaignSales.com.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
The Illini Visa Rewards Card is your community credit card.
It's my ticket for travel. My name is Mindy, and I gain points from my Illini Visa credit card. And I use the points for trips to see my grandkids in Colorado.
It's my ticket for gift cards. My name is Mark. I gain points from my Illini Visa credit card, and I use the points to buy gift cards as incentives for my employees when they achieve goals at the office.
The community has spoken, and they use the Illini Visa Rewards Card. The Illini Visa Rewards Card can be your ticket for travel, gift cards, and more. When you use your Illini Visa Rewards Card for purchases, you rack up points. Use your points to travel. Use your points for gift cards. Don't have an Illini Visa yet? Apply today at IlliniCard.org. That's IlliniCard.org.
Live, work, or study in Champaign County? Bank with the U of I Community Credit Union.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. Finding the perfect solution for you, guiding you through the options, helping you through a claim, and adapting to your evolving needs. Since 1997, GTPS Insurance has provided coverage for your car, your home, your business, and your life. As an independent broker, GTPS Insurance Agency will shop around until they find the right coverage at the best price. Contact a GTPS Insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Check out the new Honda BMW of Champaign, formerly Twin City Honda BMW and still located in Savoy. These guys are crazy for used vehicles. Truckloads of pre-owned vehicles, 25 to 50% off the price of a similar new model. And not just Hondas and BMWs, cars, pickup trucks, and SUVs of all makes. Financing options on used cars as low as 1.9%. Just drive by Honda BMW of Champaign and you'll see from the street that this is a new dealership. Honda BMW of Champaign, online at drivechampaign.com. Hi, this is Stevie J. Coming this Friday morning at 7:10, join me for a major announcement regarding a programming change coming to Sunny 95.3. I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to tell you. Friday morning, 7:10 on ESPN 93.5 and Sunny 95.3. I'll tell you about a major programming change coming to Sunny 95.3. I'll talk to you then.
You know who's going to win the game, right? Now is the time to join the thousands of online players at MyBookie because due to popular demand, MyBookie is extending their 100% bonus offer for one more week. Just use promo code RADIO to activate the 100% bonus offer, but you have to act this week to get your 100% bonus. You're wasting your time betting anywhere else. They have in-game live betting, so you can even place a bet after kickoff. And unlike some other websites you might find, MyBookie offers fast, no-hassle payouts when you win. Real Vegas odds and incredible player props. And due to popular demand, for one more week, MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar, up to $1,000 when you use the promo code RADIO. So join now. Pull out your smartphone and sign up with their user-friendly mobile site. You play, you win, you get paid. Visit mybookie.lv or call 844-900-BETS and take advantage of the final week to get your 100% deposit bonus. Expert or rookie, you gotta check out MyBookie. Sign up today.
I'm the other Mike Madigan. I'm not that politician from Chicago. I grew up on our Champaign County farm, and I now own 4 Hickory River Smokehouse restaurants. So don't let my name confuse you. I'll term limit myself, fight for fair maps, and refuse the legislative pension. Most importantly, my first vote will be to get rid of the Chicago politicians that have brought our once proud state to its knees. My opponent has already voted for them once, and he'll do it again.
I'm former Sheriff Dave Madigan. My nephew is the other Mike Madigan. As you can imagine, our family has had some fun at his expense. But what Chicago Mike Madigan is doing to our state is no joke. The other Mike Madigan grew up on our family farm, owns Hickory River Smokehouse, and gives back to our community, including strong support for law enforcement. So on November the 8th, vote the other Mike Madigan for state senate.
You can send a message to Springfield. Send the other Mike Madigan. Send the right Mike Madigan. Send our Mike Madigan.
Paid for by the other Mike Madigan.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Jeremy Warner. This is your 430 Sports Update brought to you by InformedAthlete.com. Lovie Smith still mum on the Illini quarterback situation. One thing's for sure, though, Chase Crouch was not at practice yesterday. Wes Lunt and Jeff George Jr. were, though Lunt was not made available to the media. George Jr. spoke to the media. He's preparing as if he'll make his second career start. What did he take away from his first start last week in Michigan?
I feel like there's more to work on than what I took away from what I took away from it, but I mean, yeah, just that every day you got to get better, and you know that we all just need to come together as a group and put it together, and do what the coaches tell us, because they got the scheme. The scheme is there, and we just got to go out there and execute.
11 a.m. kickoff against Minnesota for homecoming, 76 degrees and sunny. That'll be on ESPN News if you're watching home. Illini 6-point underdogs. Tonight's Game 2 of the World Series has been moved up an hour due to heavy rain expected in Cleveland. 6:08 first pitch between Trevor Bauer and Jake Arrieta. Indians took Game 1 6-0 shutout. Looking to spark his offense, Joe Madden has Wilson Contreras catching and Jorge Soler in right field. You can hear it here loud and clear on ESPN Radio 93.5. Illinois basketball heading back to Maui. The 2012 Maui champs will head back to the islands for the 2018 tournament. That's 2 seasons from now. The field will include Arizona, Auburn, Duke, Gonzaga, Iowa State, San Diego State, and Xavier.
Did you say Auburn?
Yep. Bruce Pearl game. Let's do it. Illinois basketball, though, lost another recruiting target to SLU. The Billikens landed 2018 5-star post recruit and St. Louis native Cartier Gordon. Travis Ford doing big things.
Yeah.
5-star recruiting target Chris Wilkes tweeted out today. He'll make a decision in early November. Illinois in his top 3, along with Indiana and UCLA.
SLU. Who knew? Hey, owning a home is considered an essential part of the American dream, but is it right for your financial situation? The mortgage experts at Busey can help you decide that. Did you know it's 38% cheaper to own a home versus renting? Why? Well, lower mortgage rates right now and higher rent prices. Compare the cost of renting versus the real cost of buying with the, quote, should I rent or buy calculator on Busey.com. That's pretty neat. They're ready. If you're ready, though, to make that purchasing plunge, Busey will help you out. They've been voted the #1 lender by the Illinois Housing Development Authority. Buying a home is one of the most substantial purchases you'll ever make. The experts at Busey will guide you through the process every step of the way. Stop by one of their many convenient locations. Call 1-800-67-BUSEY, or you can visit Busey.com today.
Most of the Las Vegas books do not have a line on Illinois, Minnesota.
Oh, they don't?
Yeah, and now the line, at least at CG Technology, I don't know what that is.
CG Technology.
They have it at 9, Minnesota.
Okay.
But some of the bigger ones like Wynn, MGM Mirage.
No line?
No line.
What does that mean?
Probably because of that quarterback situation.
Oh, good call.
No information
Good
really
call.
coming out on that, but right now, if I were a betting man, I'd say Jeff George Jr. I'm just hearing he's getting more snaps. Wes Lunt, don't know what that back injury is. Maybe a bulging disc or something like that. But
he got slammed pretty hard.
Definitely not going to be Chase Crouch.
Okay.
That's what we know. He wouldn't even have practice yesterday. So don't know who the quarterback yet will be for Illinois.
It is time to head to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line and find out more about Minnesota. We're going to join now by Ryan Burns from Gopher Illustrated. Ryan, how are you?
I'm splendid this afternoon, fellas. How's it going down there in Champaign?
Well,
it's a little rainy,
a
little cold, but it's going to be nice and sunny when you get here, Ryan.
Exactly.
If you're coming to this game.
I got 43 degrees, a little overcast skies. I should be in a duck blind right now.
Oh, yes, you should.
That's pretty good for Minnesota.
Right.
That's pretty good for Minnesota. Hey, what happened at Rutgers? We thought Minnesota was better than that.
Yeah, that was not the performance in any of the three facets of the game we thought we were going to be able to see. It was 21-3 after the first quarter. I go back up, get a bottle of water, get a little thing of popcorn. I'm thinking I'm going to be in for a nice afternoon here, and then Minnesota's offense decides they only want to score 6 more points. They really get a lot of push, and the defense, minus a couple of key players that are dealing with some legal issues, just aren't able to do anything. And it just wasn't quite the game we thought it was going to be, and Minnesota has to come back with a fourth-quarter game-winning drive against Rutgers at home on homecoming.
Wow.
So it's a really interesting dynamic going on right now. Again, I didn't really think that was the Minnesota team I was going to see. They were coming off a 21-point victory on the road against Maryland, and they come up and kind of lay an egg at home against Rutgers. So Minnesota has yet to play a full and complete game in all three facets of the game. And so my hope is that they're able to do that this Saturday against your Illini, but I'm not really holding my breath right now.
Interesting.
Yeah, those Scarlet Knights are sneaky good. They can get you in a good game. Like Bill Cubitt here, Ryan, Tracy Claeys went from an interim to a short-term contract. Unlike Cubitt, he actually got a year to coach. He's 1 win away from bowl eligibility. But what's the fan support there for him, and more importantly, what's the new AD support for him?
The fan support, I've never seen a coach in it's almost since the Glenn Mason years get this. A lot of people want Tracy Claeys gone, and they want him gone right now.
Wow.
And this team is more than likely going to be, depending on how things play out this weekend, 7-2 heading down to Lincoln for a very important Big Ten West game. Again, this team is 2 plays away from being 7-0 right now. If they can block a field goal or not give up a giant quarterback scramble against Penn State on the road, and then if they're able to finally devote themselves to a running game against Iowa when Mitch Leidner is concussed for half the game, the offensive coordinator decides he wants to continue to run the ball, pass the ball. It really didn't make any sense as game plan, but this team is so close to being 7-0, and just the fan support here is not very strong for him. They are very high on whoever the heck else you want to nominate to them as a potential replacement for this, but I don't think folks remember that Jerry Kill was about the 6th or 7th choice down the list. And to find Tracy Claeys and Jay Savell and the rest of the staff, I think they don't really know what they have. And it's unfortunate. In terms of athletic director support, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Mark Coyle thinks here, Minnesota's athletic director, especially if Minnesota ends up with an 8-win season. Say they beat Illinois, Purdue, and Northwestern here, even though Northwestern's starting to play well, and then lose to Nebraska and Wisconsin. You're sitting at an 8-4 season. Minnesota's only won 5 Big Ten games, twice since 2000, and 5 times since 1976.
Wow.
And I just have a hard time believing that the new athletic director looks at that and says, I want to get my own guy in here. So unless he's somehow going to get Charlie Strong or whatever other high-profile name to come to Minnesota, which obviously is not very likely, I have a hard time seeing them fire Tracy Claeys right now.
Visiting with Ryan Burns. Great stuff. Gopher Illustrated. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan Burns MN. I guess if Claeys is gone, who makes sense to you as a target?
That's a great question. I mean, I've started to look into it, even though, again, I don't really think it's a legitimate possibility right now. I think that the Boise State head coach out there, Mark Coyle, Minnesota's athletic director, was at Boise State for 6 years before he went out to Syracuse for a year, and now he's at Minnesota. So I think that's very interesting. But I think it's too early right now to start to speculate. Well, again, I want to see how these last 5 weeks play out. But
sure enough.
Boise State's head coach is very interesting to me. I believe he's about 38, 40 years old. He's a pretty innovative offensive mind, which is something that Minnesota is lacking on offense. I can tell you that Minnesota is dead last, 128 of 128 FBS teams in terms of their longest pass completion, meaning they have a 34-yard pass completion, and the next worst is 44. That means they are 10 yards worse in the pass game than any other team, and they only have 2 plays over 50 yards on offense in total this season. It's just not a very explosive offense by any means, and it's something they have to fix. So I would imagine that they go towards an offensive mind if they're looking to get something after Tracy Claeys.
I have a lot of respect for Todd McShay, but when he labeled Mitch Leidner a first-round draft prospect this offseason, I go, what?
Yeah.
Obviously, we know he's not that, Ryan, but how has he looked running this offense, and what is kind of the identity of this offense?
Yeah, Mitch Leidner. There's a little saying that we have up here, and it's Leidner Island is what it's called, because Mitch Leidner may be the most polarizing figure in the Twin Cities sports media market, and that's with 4 pro sports teams. Either you are a Mitch Leidner fan, or you absolutely cannot stand the guy. There is no in between for anyone out
it's
here.
Like Wes Lunt.
Yeah,
it's very polarizing. So in terms of how he's playing fine. The issue is if Mitch Leidner has to be throwing open receivers, you're not going to have a very successful Minnesota offense. There's just not a lot of separation being created by these Gopher receivers. Minnesota is going to be without their best tight end and arguably their best receiving option in Brandon Lingen for the rest of the season. It sounds like he's got some kind of a foot tendon issue that he's going to be out with for the rest of the season. So Illinois is not going to have to worry about him. It's just there's no one for him to throw the ball to. And luckily for Mitch and for Jay Johnson, Minnesota's offensive coordinator, they have 2 extremely talented running backs in Rodney Smith and Shannon Brooks, 2 sophomores from the great state of Georgia. Rodney Smith has over 700 rushing yards on the season through 7 games. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns. He's an absolutely dynamic player. I can't say enough good things about him. He had 257 all-purpose yards last week. He was named the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. And then Shannon Brooks is the home run threat. He's someone that I've been clamoring to get more touches, that is. And he's got 44 touches in back-to-back games, and I think that's going to be a theme here. I would be shocked if both of those guys don't have 20-plus touches this weekend, and they are the absolute identity. You're going to see a heavy dose of the running game, as Minnesota only passed the ball 18 times last week, and they were in a very tightly contested game, unfortunately. So I have a hard time seeing Mitch Leidner throw the ball more than 22, 24 times, which means you're going to see a heavy dose of Rodney Smith and Shannon Brooks on Saturday.
That might not be good for the Fighting Illini. I know this. Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated. How about the defense, Ryan? What's the identity of Minnesota's defense? Who are some guys we should look out for come Saturday?
Stephen Richardson is one that immediately comes to mind. He's an Illinois product, and I'm still very surprised that Minnesota was his only Big Ten offer coming out of high school. He has been he is Minnesota's Aaron Donald. He is all of about 5'9", 5'10", 290 pounds. but he has been an absolute force. He's been getting constant penetration into backfields. He has been someone that has been disrupting the passing game and disrupting the running lanes, allowing these Gopher linebackers to shoot gaps and just get consistent tackles for loss. Minnesota's got a very good safety by the name of Demarius Travis, someone that I think is going to continue Minnesota's run of defensive backs to the NFL. Minnesota is one of 5 teams in the last 3 seasons to put defensive backs into the NFL. The other schools in that are Virginia Tech, Alabama, Florida State, Ohio State, and I believe there's one more as well. So I think Demarius is going to be the next in a long line of recent years of defensive back development under Jay Savo. And then there's a couple of linebackers by the name of Jonathan Celestine and then Jack Lynn. Jack Lynn is going to be out for the first half of the Illinois game. He is, I believe, a Lake Zurich product from Illinois down there. He was ejected via a targeting call, so Minnesota's going to be without him. And then Jonathan Celestine has been absolutely fantastic in space. He's got 24 solo tackles in his last 3 games, so he's been an absolute cog in this Minnesota defense. And I expect with Keontae Hardenback, who's their other starting corner, he's one of the ones dealing with legal issues right now. And if he's back, Minnesota's defense in his last 2 games allowed 14 points against Iowa and then 10 points to Maryland, and Harden had interceptions in both of those games. So with Harden expected to be back this weekend, I think Minnesota's defense is going to be much more stout than they were against Rutgers.
So, Ryan, what do you think of this matchup against Illinois? What are kind of the keys for Minnesota?
Well, I've noticed that your Illini are absolutely putrid on third down. You guys are last on offense and you're last on defense in terms of conversion rates. And I think that's going to be a good thing for Minnesota, especially the way that they're having some issues on offense, especially converting on 3rd and 4th and short. But I do think Minnesota's going to be able to get a victory. Again, I don't know that Illinois has enough on offense to where that it's going to, outside of the receiver you guys have and then the 2 backs, I don't know that it's enough for Jay Savo, the defensive coordinator, to really get worried about it. And I think that Minnesota's offense, especially going against the Illini rush defense, is going to continue to find success, and that's going to be good considering you don't want Minnesota to pass the ball more than 25 times a game. So I have this game at, I think, Minnesota 24 and Illinois 20. I don't know what the spread is right now. I thought I heard you guys say
9
it was about
points.
9. That's way too high for me. I do not feel comfortable in that nearly at all. I mean, if Minnesota finally shows up and plays 4 quarters of football in all 3 facets of the game, maybe. But Illinois and Minnesota in their last few meetings have been a tightly contested game going into the 4th quarter, and I have a hard time seeing that changing this Saturday.
Take all your money and put it on Illinois to cover. We'll give you Ryan Burns' number if it doesn't work out. I kid. Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan Burns MN. He'll be ice fishing soon. Ryan, thanks, buddy.
Appreciate the time, fellas.
All right, man. Good stuff. That was great stuff. Great breakdown on the Gophers.
Scout.com guys are good.
That scared the crap out of me, though, when he said they're going to run those running backs like 100 times. I mean, you know they are. I just...
And Widener can move a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a decent quarterback. I think Beathard's a little bit better than him.
Right.
Widener, I think, isn't their problem. But I don't think he's the answer. It sounds like Wes Lunt, right? I mean, they don't have enough talent on the outside, and they don't even have a guy like Malik Turner. I mean, Malik's really good.
Wow.
At least Illinois has that. They just don't have anybody else around him.
So a lot of Trey Watson this week, a lot of Julian Jones.
No, not a lot of Trey Watson because he's going to be out the first half because of the targeting penalty.
Okay, I forgot about that.
So you'll see Julian Jones.
Who takes Trey's spot?
Probably a true freshman, Jake Hansen.
Okay, not Dele Harding.
No, Dele's a middle backer.
Okay.
He's a Mike backer.
They wouldn't even...
Yeah, Jake Hansen's worked at both the Mike and the weak side.
Okay.
So he'll likely play that weak side linebacker role and be on the field a lot in that first half. You could put James Crawford back there, but he's been working in so many different areas.
Right.
Like he officially started at safety last week. He's played at defensive end and he's played at linebacker.
James Crawford officially started as safety?
Yeah, he's officially started as safety.
I didn't know that.
He just played. It was one rep.
Yeah,
but it was just a package they had out for a certain personnel package.
Well, that's interesting.
He got to start at safety.
Well,
he's gotten to start at linebacker, and he's gotten reps at defensive end.
It'll be interesting. I mean, this is a chance for this defensive line that has put pressure on a quarterback. Now, almost in their mind, they can just completely switch and say, look, let's don't go, blank out to the quarterback. We've got to sit back, contain our gaps, and stop the run.
Gap control is huge for this defense, and they need more from their defensive tackles, and the secondary needs to make plays. You got to force some turnovers. You got to make plays on third down. Ryan mentioned it. The third down conversions are bad. He mentioned Steven Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
Who's like 5'9".
Yeah, why
as a defensive tackle.
isn't he at Illinois?
Well, he's 5'9".
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, the only FBS offer I think he had was Minnesota, but he reminds me of Kenyon Jackson.
I was going to say Kenyon, right?
Kenyon Jackson, like the guy, when I saw him in camp, I go, that's Steven Richardson.
Isn't that
Now
funny?
it's going to take him time to get there.
Yep.
But Kenyon's playing a lot, is a true freshman right now, so hopefully it pays off down the road.
Come on, short people just get the raw end of the deal. Point guards, they get the
fill your
raw
gap,
end.
make some disruptions, you're fine.
Amen. All right, we're going to, when we come back, it's our last segment of the day as we get you ready for the World Series. Game 2 tonight in Cleveland.
We'll make our picks.
Okay, let's do it. Bauer against whom?
Jake Arrieta.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I think I got my pick.
Okay.
It's the Tay and J Show.
Hunting for your next apartment for fall 2017 and spring 2018? It just got a lot easier with JSM. From studios to 5-bedroom apartments, JSM has apartments of all sizes. Close to the quad, close to your classes, and close to your fraternity and sorority houses. And when you sign with them, you'll be enrolled in their VIP program to receive discounts at local restaurants and stores. Go to jsmliving.com to learn more. That's jsmliving.com. JSM wishes you a happy Halloween, and they remind you to be safe and responsible this Halloween season.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Jasper Engines and Transmissions offers a cost-effective solution to your present engine or transmission trouble. Avoid a costly new car purchase or high lease payments by putting new life into your present vehicle. Let Hanson's Auto Repair install a Jasper remanufactured engine or transmission with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide warranty and available premium service plan. Call or visit Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, online at hansonsautorepair.com.
DP Dough is the original Calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original Calzone Company. This Mettler tip is brought to you by Matthew Gordon, Doctor of Physical Therapy at the Mettler Center.
A proper warm-up increases heart rate, breathing rate, as well as the oxygen and blood flow delivered to muscles. You need to make sure that your warm-up is warming up the muscles that you are about to use. There is no one-size-fits-all for warm-ups. If you're going to go out and start jogging, walk a little bit and then build into a jog. If you are getting ready to do weighted squats, try starting out with just body weight squats.
For more fitness and wellness advice, click on Ask an Expert at MettlerCenter.com.
Hi, this is Rick Allen, founder of InformedAthlete.com. For over 25 years, I've advised athletes and parents about the NCAA, NAIA, and JUCO rules. If you're a high school or college athlete or a parent or coach, we want you to know about Informed Athlete. If you have questions about college athletic recruiting, scholarships, academic eligibility, or transfers, for helpful information and to sign up for our free weekly newsletter, visit us online at InformedAthlete.com. That's InformedAthlete.com.
Bunny's Tavern is your home for the 2016 Cubs postseason run. Nothing beats watching baseball over an ice-cold beer. So enjoy $13.50 mix and match domestic buckets and $6 PBR pitchers 7 days a week. You'll catch every minute of Cubs playoff action on Bunny's 13 big screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the largest heated patio in Urbana. With delicious daily lunch and dinner specials, Bunny's Tavern is the perfect spot to settle in for a historic postseason run. Bunny's Tavern, your home for the 2016 Cubs postseason.
This fall, the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts remind you that every year more than 20,000 people in the U.S. visit the ER due to carbon monoxide poisoning. So make sure your carbon monoxide detectors work and get a furnace precision tune-up and safety inspection from Chief Bauer Service Experts for just $79. Normally $120, that's a $41 savings. You'll also save up to 30% on energy bills, and you'll get a written 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call 866-EXPERTS or schedule your tune-up online at chiefbauer.com.
Hello, this is Matt Carr from First Bank and Trust. At First Bank, we believe relationships are the one constant in the ever-changing banking landscape. You bank with who you trust, and you trust who you know. With over a century of serving communities in East Central Illinois, we've had the good fortune of knowing customers and their families for generations. We want to take the stress and hassle out of banking wherever and whenever you need it. Visit the new FirstBankTrust.com today and discover what banking local can mean for you. First Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hey, Bunny's Tavern, that's where you want to be. And I mean quick. Get over there quick for World Series Game 2. They take care of you. They're the home of World Series baseball in our area, Bunny's Tavern.
It'll be you and Carp tomorrow. I am on dad duty tomorrow. It's daddy daycare tomorrow. I'm kind of looking forward to it, kind of dreading it.
No, you know you will. You'll love it.
It'll be good.
Okay.
Like, me and him have been like, I take certain days where I got him for like half the day and let Tiff do whatever she needs to do.
That's awesome.
But I got him for the entire day.
Okay.
So I got everything. When he's good, he's bad.
Yes.
We get some playing together.
You are going to appreciate Tiff after tomorrow.
do.
I know you do, but you still don't know what she does.
When she gets home, take him.
That'll be you.
She's at work part time right now.
Yeah.
But like on Mondays and Tuesdays, she's home all day right now, and then that's gonna change here coming up. But I just see a look on her face like, I'll take him. Okay, I got him for like 2 hours. Did my job.
I told you when the show before the show started, I said sometimes when my boys were young, I used to look at that and say, I know that's my creation, but I can't stand that little thing. I can't stand that little crap
stink right now.
Exactly. Why are you like this? I wasn't like this.
I mean, the other day, he just started crying
for no reason.
I just hissing for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, it's like what?
Like he was smiling at me a minute prior. Everything was good. He'd been changed. He'd been fed.
So
and all
everything
of a sudden,
is good.
He's just screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yeah.
And I go, what happened?
Yeah. What?
Like,
did you just realize I'm your dad and you don't like that?
Like,
I mean,
what came into your head that made you go, this stinks so much, I'm going to yell as loud as I can?
Oh, I used to they'd be sitting in that little chair that vibrates. And be like, brrr.
Oh, he doesn't do that.
Oh, he doesn't?
Oh, he won't sit anymore.
Oh.
He has to be moving around.
Oh, no.
So we got to carry him. Which is fine when I strap him up in that thing.
Right.
But we don't want him to sleep like we want him to sleep at night, so sometimes we try to keep him up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But he has to be moving, otherwise he's screaming. What a high-maintenance 2.5-month-old.
Stinking kids.
No, but he's awesome.
Just wait till they start costing you a lot of money.
Well, everyone wishes, like, me and Tiff are at that point where we want him to, like, be walking,
yes.
We want him, like, to be more interactive, and people are like, careful what you wish for.
Right. Because then
it just gets crazy.
Oh, my goodness. You're shutting doors. You're panicked about things. Like, what are they grabbing now? All right, Cubs, Indians, Game 2 tonight. Bauer, Arrieta.
Coming up next on our airwaves, I think the Cubs offense explodes tonight.
Okay.
Bauer is just a fastball pitcher.
Yep.
He does have some good stuff, but he doesn't locate it well. So I think the Cubs are going to be patient. They'll sit on that fastball, and they will crush it.
Okay, wait for it. I think the Indians go up 2-0.
Oh!
I think they do. The
red-hot Indians are buying them.
Everything, the aura around that team right now. Now, that still doesn't mean I still pick the Cubs to win this in 6.
Yeah.
But I think the Indians get it done tonight at home.
Oh, so you think the Cubs win the next 4?
Yeah.
They pull Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to do it. No, I still think Cubs win the series, but I've got the Indians winning tonight. They are on fire. And right now at that place, it is going nuts with Indians fans. So I'm going with Indians tonight.
Yep, they're scary.
It's not because I hate you, Cubs fans.
You'll hear it loud and clear on ESPN Radio 93.5 coming up next with Dan Schulman and the national broadcast crew. Thanks to our guest today, Illini pitching coach Drew Dickinson.
Awesome.
Baseball porn.
That was awesome.
It was great. Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated as well. Get our podcast, ESPNCU.com, or find us on iTunes. It's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Thanks to our intern, Trevin Miller.
Well done.
Today.
Illinois is playing basketball in Maui in 2 years.
Going.
Love it. Tay and J Show.
Rodney Davis is fighting to keep America's promise to our veterans. In Congress, Davis is reforming the VA, holding bureaucrats accountable, and working to provide veterans with better health care and more choices. And Rodney's fighting to create jobs and new economic opportunities for veterans and their families. Here's Rodney Davis.
Too many of our veterans can't find work when they return home from the battlefield. I'm Rodney Davis, and I'm doing something about it. I was proud to pass a bipartisan law to help more veterans find jobs. The Hire More Heroes Act reforms Obamacare so that small businesses can hire more veterans. It's just one way to thank America's heroes for the sacrifices they make to keep us safe.
Rodney Davis, standing strong for America's veterans, finding bipartisan solutions to honor their service.
I'm Rodney Davis, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rodney for Congress.
Now through August 31st, Crossroads Corner Consignment is purchasing items outright for cash. Moving, redecorating, or wanting to get rid of some stuff? Now through October 31st, Crossroads Corner Consignment is paying you cash for your stuff. They make house calls and have pickup service for furniture. So what are you waiting for? Have home decor, wall art, lamps, furniture, and jewelry, vintage Illini items, coins, elegant glassware, and local advertising pieces? Crossroads Corner Consignment wants your stuff. Call 954-1100 or email photos of what you want to sell to crossroadscornerconsignment@yahoo.com.
Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Illinois invites you to come to our 2016 Chocolate Extravaganza at the Hilton Garden Inn on Friday, November 11th. Attendees at this year's Chocolate Extravaganza will enjoy food and drinks from more than 25 local restaurants and lots of chocolate. Hear from the State of Illinois Big Sister of the Year while bidding on a variety of silent auction baskets. All proceeds help Big Brothers Big Sisters to support parenting children facing adversity in a professional one-to-one mentoring relationship. Visit bbbscil.org for more information.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Coming up on Baseball Tonight, after an historic evening in the city of Cleveland, the Indians grabbing center stage today, looking to take the first two games of the World Series. But can Trevor Bauer come back from his hand injury to keep the Cubs' bats cooled? Can Jake Arrieta help the Cubs even this series before it heads to Chicago? And is tribe reliever Andrew Miller available tonight after 46 pitches last night, plus lineup changes for both teams? We'll get you set for Game 2 of the World Series next on ESPN Radio.
Latest news, insights, and analysis. This is Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Now here's Mark Kestisher.
And we welcome you to Baseball Tonight an hour earlier than originally scheduled due to the weather in Cleveland, Ohio today. During Game 1 last night, MLB announcing Game 2 would be moved up from 8:08 to 7:08 Eastern Time due to rain in the Wednesday night forecast. The tarp has been covering the infield all day long. There have been some sprinkles within the last hour, but the bulk of the rain has stayed north of downtown Cleveland for much of the day. The updated forecast showing a decent window to perhaps get this game in with 25% or less chance of rain between game time and perhaps 11 p.m. Eastern. Conditions won't be great regardless. Temperatures in the mid-40s, winds blowing 10 to 20 miles per hour. As for the Game 2 pitching matchup, it'll be reigning NL Cy Young winner Jake Arrieta on the hill for the Cubs against Trevor Bauer. Will make his first start since that cut he suffered fixing one of his drones. Opened up, started bleeding, forced him out after recording just 2 outs against Toronto. A Game 2 preview coming up in just about 3 minutes. The Cubs, they were the big favorites entering the World Series, but manager Terry Francona's Indians have been red hot this postseason and continued the trend in the World Series opener last night.
I mean, shoot, the Cubs are the Cubs. I get it. I played there. People liked me when I was the 26th man on a 25-man team. That's just the way the Cubs are. I get it. I think that if you go into our clubhouse, though, you'll see 25 guys, coaches, trainers, our front office that are perfectly content with where we are and how we got here. And if we can win, this city will go bananas.
Let's see if he goes back to the breaking ball. He does, and it's a swing and a miss on a ball down and away to get Bryant and end the inning.
That's pitching 101 right there. 101.
8 strikeouts through 3 for Kluber. 2-0 Indians going to the bottom of the third.
Well, I think he's a good pitcher all the time. For the last 3 years, he's been pretty good. To your point, I mean, in these playoffs, he's been about as good as, and we need him. And we're going to need him more.
And the pitch from Lester, and a swing and a ball hit well to left field. This is going to be off the top of the wall, and now it's being signaled as a home run. The left field umpire, Tony Randazzo, is saying it went over the yellow line, may have hit a railing up above the fence and bounced back onto the field of play, and that is going to go as a home run for Perez.
His hands are so soft, and I think he's confident to boot. That's a good combination. What he did at the plate tonight, my goodness, that was exciting to watch.
Ross waits. Runners go, and a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. On the appeal down to first, Ross goes around on that slider, and the Cubs load him with nobody out and cannot score in the 7th.
We're unable to obviously get the big hit, knock the run in, but saw a lot of pitches tonight. Kluber was outstanding, but I thought we did a good job against Miller.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him with a slider to end the inning. Miller gets out of trouble again.
In the 7th or 8th inning, that wasn't looking like a 6-0 game.
And a hanging breaking ball is hit a ton to left field and gone. What a night for Roberto Perez.
Ronnie just hangs a slider and the guy hits a home run. Otherwise, it's kind of tightly contested, and who knows what happens in that last inning. I don't know. The 6 runs makes it look more lopsided.
The 2-2 swing and a miss, and the Indians win game 1. They shut out the Cubs 6-0.
Our guys are good. They'll be ready to play tomorrow. I like the idea of the game being moved up, just if it's going to take the weather out of it. So that's all good stuff. But I'm pleased with our guys.
Cubs lose, but the Indians win completed an unprecedented sports night in the city of Cleveland. Also last night, the reigning NBA champion Cavaliers raised their title banner, received their rings, and won their season opener right next door. We're with you for the next hour before the scheduled first pitch in Game 2. For a preview, let's head inside Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland with Aaron Boone and Chris Singleton. Here's Dan Schulman. Kesty, thank you very much. Sure was a big night last night for Cleveland sports fans, with the Cavs winning their season opener, and even bigger, of course, the Indians winning Game 1 of the World Series. Kluber was great. Andrew Miller grinded his way through a couple of innings. Cody Allen finished it off. And now they will send Trevor Bauer to the mound in Game 2. Singy, is there any way to know what to expect from Trevor Bauer tonight?
There's no way to know what Trevor Bauer will give Terry Francona and the Cleveland Indians tonight. We know this. He's well rested. You consider his start in the division series against the Boston Red Sox. 4 2/3 innings, 3 runs allowed. He walked off the field, tipped his cap as if he had gone 8 strong. So his perspective on what's a solid start and what's quality may be a lot different than what Terry Francona would like. So for him, if he goes out and pitches 3 innings a night in the World Series, he may feel like he wins the MVP award.
He's a different kind of cat. There's no disputing that. Aaron, is Andrew Miller in play tonight for the Cleveland Indians?
I think he is. And seeing him before the game, he was definitely feeling the effects of last night's 46-pitch outing. I think it would be in a small dose, perhaps for that Rizzo portion of the lineup, Rizzo or Schwarber, maybe a hitter 2 or 3 at most. So I think it's possible that he is available in the right situation.
All right, Singy, let's take a look at the Cub lineup right now, because Joe Maddon has made a couple of changes going into Game 2. He's obviously going to leave Schwarber in there. He loved the quality of the Schwarber at-bats, but he's got Wilson Contreras catching Jake Arrieta, not Miguel Montero, his regular guy, and Jorge Soler is in the lineup as well. Any surprises on your end?
A little bit. And here's what I'll say is we look at the Chicago Cubs as a team that has incredible chemistry. Joe Maddon so out of the box with everything that he does to create this culture and environment where it's so comfortable to come to work, be yourself, and perform. But guys, we come into the World Series, understandably so. Jason Hayward, performance, he's not in the lineup. You have that. You've been together all year. They have survived his struggles. You win as a team. He's not in there. Then you have Miguel Montero, who's handled Jake Arrieta for the most part this year. He's not starting. And you kind of wonder, how much of that could affect this team? If they lose, I think we'll really start to look at it and say there was a disruption in the chemistry. And it's not always just the results that individual produces, but it's kind of the feel as a whole. And I'll be real curious to see how that goes tonight.
What Joe Madden and the Cubs would love is Jake Arrieta to go out there and throw like Jake Arrieta of last year or of April and May of this year. What's been the issue for Arrieta since then?
Fastball command. He had almost twice as many walks this year in less innings. When his fastball he's commanding that fastball, it sets everything else up, and he becomes very difficult to hit as hard as anyone. Hitters less than 200 from both sides of the plate against him. So if he's throwing strikes with his fastball, he should be in good shape.
Kesty, it's cold, it's blustery, but it's not raining. There's a window, they say, and it looks like there will be baseball tonight in Cleveland. Back to you.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot. And that's good news. Tarp still on the infield at the moment, but we are 1 hour from first pitch. I'm Mark Kestisher. Baseball tonight on ESPN Radio. Game 2, Cubs and Indians, 60 minutes away. You can follow us on Twitter at MLB on ESPN Radio. And Baseball tonight on ESPN Radio is presented by Scott's. Let's check our World Series headlines. The weather tonight, of course, remaining a story. Cubs manager Joe Madden was all good with Major League Baseball's preemptive decision to move up the start time almost 24 hours ago.
I think it's a great idea. You know, if in fact that's what's going to happen. We went out for that pitching change, and Rizzo said, hey, look at the scoreboard. The game's been moved up an hour. So that's when I realized it had been moved up an hour on the mound. No, I mean, if we're going to be with technology as it is and you have good weather reports, I'd rather do that than have the game start at 8 o'clock and then they get caught in the latter part of the game with some rain. So I think it's a good idea.
Well, if there are weather delays tonight, a reminder, the rule change back in 2009 requires all postseason games to be played to their conclusion and at the ballpark where the game started. So if Game 2 couldn't be completed tonight, tomorrow is a scheduled travel day in the series before Game 3, which is scheduled for Friday night at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Some pitching news today from Indian skipper Terry Francona. He had announced just his first 3 starters for the World Series, with Josh Tomlin set to go in Game 3 Friday in Chicago. And after Game 1 winner Corey Kluber shut out the Cubs over 6+ innings last night, Francona asked if he's prepared to announce Kluber as his Game 4 starter on short rest on Saturday.
Yeah, I just didn't want to put Klubs in a tough spot by saying that before he pitched. I didn't think it was fair to him. Then if something came up and he wasn't ready to make that start, I didn't think it was fair to him. But he's all set to pitch. That was probably that was probably plan A. But like I said, I didn't want to be unfair to him.
So it will be Kluber in Game 4 against John Lackey on Saturday. One other World Series headline, a Cubs fan apparently sent tonight's Indians pitcher Trevor Bauer a mini drone. Bauer actually tweeted a photo of it. Of course, Bauer cut his pinky repairing one of his other drones, required 10 stitches, wasn't quite healed when he tried to pitch in Game 3 against the Blue Jays in the ALCS. Bauer tweeted himself and the mini drone and a note from the guy who sent it to him that said, "Hi, Trevor, go Cubs, go." Trevor Bauer, Jake Arrieta, the Game 2 starters in the World Series coming up just past the top of the hour. Tonight's game being brought to you by the Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA. Coming up on Baseball tonight, why Cubs fans shouldn't overreact to their team's Game 1 loss. You're listening to the World Series on ESPN Radio.
The experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts remind you that carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and deadly. When gas furnaces aren't working right, they can leak carbon monoxide, and that could be a big problem. Replace that old furnace with help from the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts. You'll save up to 50% on energy bills, and right now you can get payments as low as $99 a month or save up to $2,700 on a new Lennox home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or schedule an appointment online at chiefbauer.com.
Stone Seed knows Illinois. Their hybrids and varieties are developed and tested exclusively for Illinois soils. At TWS Seed, Tim has 17 years of experience in the seed industry and recognizes great products. Stone Seed's corn hybrids and soybean varieties out-yields the competition 80% of the time. Remember, what goes in the grain tank goes to the bank. Call Tim Wood at TWS Seed at 493-2295. Stone Seed. We live here. We farm here. We know Illinois. The buzz this fall is Cubs baseball. Hey, your yard is part of that special place you call home. You want to enjoy your yard and home this time of year. And with the help of Spring Green's grub control and fall applications, you can. With Spring Green's 100% guarantee of satisfaction, they'll make it right or refund the cost of the entire application. Serving Champaign-Urbana and Matthew Charleston at 359-2111. Spring Green, America's lawn care team, letting you enjoy America's favorite pastime. Go Cubs!
Hello, this is Matt Carr from First Bank and Trust. At First Bank, we believe relationships are the one constant in the ever-changing banking landscape. You bank with who you trust, and you trust who you know. With over a century of serving communities in East Central Illinois, we've had the good fortune of knowing customers and their families for generations. We want to take the stress and hassle out of banking wherever and whenever you need it. Visit the new FirstBankTrust.com today and discover what banking local can mean for you. First Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and it won't be long before you'll be getting back up on those shaky ladders, risking your neck cleaning out those mucky, yucky gutters. So if you never want to clean your gutters again, that's right, guaranteed never clean your gutters again, call us right now for the Gutter Helmet. We're running 15% off the Gutter Helmet, plus we have 0% financing for 18 months. Be sure to stop in our beautiful showroom on Country Fair Drive or give us a call for the Gutter Helmet.
Vote yes for county executive and exercise your right to vote for leadership with authority. For decades, the county board has failed to solve the nursing home and jail problems because of party politics. We need a county executive to bring the two parties together and create compromise. Voting yes to county executive is voting yes for reform. A county executive won't increase the cost of running the county unless the county board chooses to and refuses to control costs. Vote for leadership. Vote yes for county executive. This message paid for by the Champaign County Business Empowered PAC and the Champaign County Farm Bureau Political Involvement Committee.
Hey guys, I'm gonna head over to Rosati's Pizza for lunch. Anybody want anything? Let me know. I'm leaving soon.
Hey Bob, you want to split a pizza Valentino?
Sure, Jerry.
Hey Bob, grab some wings and poppers, would you?
Okay, Clara.
2 Italian beefs, 1 barbecue beef, and a half-pound burger loaded for the guys down in shipping.
Sure, guys.
Greek salad, taco salad, and a grilled chicken Caesar salad for the gals up front, Bob.
Yeah, okay.
Hey Bob, you might want to get it delivered.
Rosati's Pizza, more than just pizza, with delivery to Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy. See the menu at myrosatis.com.
Are you sick of spending thousands of dollars a year on smoking? Sick of coughing every time you get up in the morning? Well, try Vapors E-Cigs LLC, offering the best e-cigarette kits, liquids, accessories, and refills. Using an e-cig gives you the freedom to enjoy smoking again without all the guilt and the odor. Stop into Vapors E-Cigs LLC and find out how they can help you quit smoking. Find Vapors E-Cigs in 3 convenient locations. 1903 North Neal Street, Champaign, 2 East Main Street in Danville across from the courthouse, and now open at 620 East Champaign Avenue in Rantoul.
ESPN Radio 93.5.
This is the World Series on ESPN Radio.
Ross waits. Runners go, and a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. On the appeal down to first, Ross goes around on that slider, and the Cubs load him with nobody out and cannot score in the 7th. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him with a slider to end the inning. Miller gets out of trouble again, and it's another standing ovation for him as he comes off the mound.
What another great performance by Andrew Miller out of the Indians bullpen. 2 scoreless innings. His postseason now 13 2/3 scoreless innings with 24 strikeouts. The Indians a 1-0 lead over the Cubs. Game 2 of the World Series just past the top of the hour. Dan Shulman, Aaron Boone will have our call with Chris Singleton. I'm Mark Kestisher on our Baseball Tonight studios, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run. Coming up next, Mike Napoli on why this trip to the World Series is different from his others. Good news of the tarp being taken off the infield as they will fold it up in left field right now at Progressive Field, where we find Chris Singleton. And Singy, after losing Game 1, the odds against the Cubs winning the World Series historically have not been good of late. What's your take on that?
Well, for any team, Kesty, in the postseason, losing Game 1, best-of-7 series, 64.5% of the time, the team that wins, they end up winning the series. But here's what's interesting as we look at tonight. The team that goes 2-0, they win the series 80% of the time. So what does that all mean? You got to go out and play the games. I don't think it applies to the Cubs as much as it would the average, and the Cubs are a team I think that can raise that average or at least keep it where it is because of their ability in terms of across the board, top to the bottom of the lineup. I think what happened last night, Corey Kluber was at his best, and the Cubs were just sort of feeling out what he can do. I was in the clubhouse today, and there was a pretty good sense of confidence that give us another opportunity at Kluber, we guarantee that the results will be different. So they hope to have that opportunity. They should have that opportunity, assuming that Kluber goes in Game 4 and then possibly pitch again in Game 7. But I think tonight, without question, is critical just to keep the morale up. The fan base, as we know, they're probably a little panicking in Chicago right now. If they come back home down 2-0, I think it'll be felt very much from the clubhouse all the way out to Addison Boulevard at every street around the ballpark.
I bet. And I don't know. We'll see if Andrew Miller can answer the bell today. We were listening to you guys talk off the top with the preview. I mean, he let it go yesterday with 46 pitches. If so, if he does come in tonight, what's the situation for Andrew Miller?
Well, talking to Terry Francona in the pregame meetings, he said that after throwing 46 last night, that he wants to the best he can, stay away from Andrew Miller for any length of time. So it would be a situation where you look at him to come and get out of an inning. So let's say you got the bases loaded and there's a lefty up there, or you've got a good platoon situation. Not that Andrew Miller necessarily needs that, but an opportunity where you're saying, hey, he's going to save the game right now, whether it be in the 6th inning or 7th inning, but not to extend the pitches really past any more than 10 or 12, I would imagine, for him tonight. But with the off day tomorrow and the desire that Andrew Miller has to want to pitch, it's going to be hard to not see him in the game, or for Terry Francona to keep him out of the game if he wanted to, because of Miller's strong desire to help this team win a world championship, and knowing today that tomorrow's off day will give him some rest to recover for Friday night's ball game.
Chris Singleton with us at Progressive Field before Game 2 of the World Series. How surprised were you? Bases loaded, 7th inning, David Ross up there, and on a 3-1 pitch, he goes slider. I know he's had a great postseason. That was some pitch that David Ross saw.
Yeah, and that's Andrew Miller's pitch. I mean, you're going to stay with your strength no matter what. You play off the aggressiveness of the batter, thinking, hey, I'm in a 3-1 count. This is they don't want to walk me. I'm getting something straight, and I'm going to make sure that I'm out in front of it so that I can get the head to it, and it can go a long way. He gets the strike, and then the 3-2 pitch was a ball off the inside part of the plate, but now all of a sudden everything changes. You go from being real aggressive in 3-1 to now 3-2. I don't want to strike out. I want to put the ball in play. And it was a great pitch in terms of the result for Andrew Miller, but it wasn't a great pitch in terms of the location if he needed that to be a borderline strike that could perhaps ring up a David Ross who wasn't swinging in that situation.
Singy, Danny Salazar, we've been waiting to see if he gets into a game. Could tonight be the night out of the bullpen?
Yeah, it could be, and if it is, it's probably not a great situation for Terry Francona, because it looks like the only way Salazar gets in this ball game is if they're trailing. It's a situation where it's low leverage. Salazar can get comfortable after spending several weeks on the disabled list and not participating up to this point in the postseason. So there's not going to be any reason, and I don't really think Terry Francona, unless he's desperate, to put Salazar into a higher leverage situation. So with that said, on the Indians side, I think they hope that they don't have to use him. But if they do, it could be an opportunity for him to get some reps and perhaps be moved into a bit higher leverage a situation as the series progresses.
More from Chris Singleton coming up on Baseball Tonight as we get you set for Game 2 of the World Series. I'm Mark Kestisher. Baseball Tonight on ESPN Radio, presented by Scotts. Indians catcher Roberto Perez, well, he's best known for his glove, but last night it was his bat that took center stage.
Did you know?
The Indians' Roberto Perez hit 2 home runs and drove in 4 runs in Game 1.
And a hanging breaking ball is hit a ton to left field and gone. What a night for Roberto Perez. His second home run of the ball game blows it open. 6-0 Indians.
Did you know, according to the Elias Sports Bureau, Perez became the 4th player in Major League history with at least 2 homers and 4 runs batted in his first World Series game. The other players who did that, Ted Kluszewski for the 1959 White Sox, Willie Aikens for the Royals in 1980. Both had 2 homers, 4 RBIs. Andrew Jones of the 96 Braves, 2 homers, and 5 runs batted in.
Did you know?
Did you know? Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run. Well, the Indians set the tone in Game 1 last night. They scored 2 runs in the first off John Lester. Mike Napoli walked, came around to score in that first inning. The Indians' first baseman spoke with our Chris Singleton.
All right, thanks a lot here with Mike Napoli. And Mike, the Cleveland Indians last night, your club, you guys go out and defend your house behind Corey Kluber. And you just start with his performance. How impressive was it for you at first base watching how he was carving up the Cubs batters?
Yeah, I mean, usually you can tell early, how the guys are taking pitches, how stuff's going to be. But ever since the All-Star break, he's been, our guy. Every time he comes out, we're real confident that we got a good chance that day. So he's been on a roll. So when he's out there, we're real confident, and we were able to scrap away 2 runs early to let him settle in and do his thing.
Yeah, you've been in the World Series. I mean, we're talking 4 times now, a couple times with the Rangers, Boston Red Sox, you won. What's this one felt like in terms of the experience and your role on the club?
It's actually been different. I feel like I have a little more anxiety, coming into this year, into the playoffs. I think it's just because, I know there's so many young kids here, and I know what it takes, and I just don't want, anybody to, mess up anything, and I don't know. It's just I feel like I've been there before. I'm the older guy they kind of look up to, and so I never want to see them do anything wrong. So it's been a little more nerve-wracking for me this year. But we just show up every day, and we go out there and we know what makes us good, and everyone stays within themselves, pass on, grinds out at bats and pass it on to the next guy, and. Like I said, we show up and play. There's no talk ahead. There's just we play for today, and we're a confident group that when we go out there, if we do the right things, play the game the right way, that we're going to win that night.
Final question, I have to ask you this, and just thought of it, and you being a big power hitter, 34 home runs this year, best you've ever done in a single season. But I got to ask you about Kyle Schwarber. Guy's out for 6.5 months, man. He comes into Game 1 of the World Series, first time ever playing in the World Series, hasn't had an at-bat forever, and he has the at-bats that he had last night. How impressed were you?
I was real impressed, and when he steps in the box, it makes me nervous. He could pop you at any time, and when he was up in those key situations, it wasn't an easy feeling, but he's a great hitter, and he knows the strike zone. He swings hard. It's compact, and it really looks like he has a good idea when he's in the box. So when he's up there, it's not an easy feeling.
All right. Well, congratulations on last night's win. Good luck tonight.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Chris Singleton with Mike Napoli back in the cleanup spot for the Cleveland Indians tonight. He'll throw Trevor Bauer. The Cubs going with Jake Arrieta. Chicago down 1-0 in the World Series. First pitch coming up just past the top of the hour from Cleveland. Up next on Baseball Tonight, Roberto Perez. Well, he came up huge in Game 1 for the Indians, but find out how all that was made possible with an injury. That's next. This is the World Series on ESPN Radio.
AutoZone presents the oil change. Regular oil changes protect your engine from wear and tear, helping your car roll well beyond the 100,000-mile mark. And right now, get a 5-quart jug of Castrol conventional motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $23.99. So visit your local AutoZone. With over 5,000 locations, the right supplies and good advice are just around the corner, so you can fix your car with confidence. Hoods up, America.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions and details in store.
Live every postseason moment with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. It's the only place to get it all. Live radio feeds, video highlights, pitch tracking, StatCast, and much, much more. Download At Bat today.
Big swings come in small packages. The National MLB Junior Home Run Derby, where kids from across the country earn the chance to compete in the finals and be crowned champion at the 2017 All-Star Week in Miami. Find out more at jrhrd.com.
Wagner OEX Brakes presents Mike Rowe on the beauty of slowing down.
The fastest runner gets a gold medal. The fastest horse gets a blue ribbon. The fastest hot rod gets a checkered flag. But what do you get for slowing down faster than anyone else? If there is a prize for such a thing, it would have to go to Wagner OEX Brakes. Tell them why.
Wagner OEX Brakes can stop your truck up to 50 feet sooner than other leading pads based on independent testing. Wagner OEX. Find out more at wagnerbrake.com.
Ought to be worth a trophy at least, right?
Maybe you're not a numbers guy. Maybe you don't know the difference between pi r squared and pi r round. Doesn't matter. Proving only the Mercedes-Benz Metris Worker cargo van stacks up is a piece of cake. The Metris Worker has 57 cubic feet more cargo volume than the Ford Transit Connect long wheelbase. That's about the size of a New York City apartment these days. And if you want to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, you can carry 3 of them in the Metris Worker. With the Ford Transit Connect, the third gorilla walks. The Metris Worker has more capabilities than a Transit Connect, and with a $25,995 starting price, has a low cost of ownership. Ain't math grand? The Mercedes-Benz Metris Worker Cargo, starting at $25,995. See your local dealer or go to mbvans.com. Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run.
Starting ad price refers to base model Metris Worker cargo van, excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Comparison based on publicly available vehicle specifications for the 2016 Ford Transit Connect long wheelbase.
These days, you gotta have a side hustle. And I'm not talking about a 9-to-5. I'm talking about driving with Uber. It's the ultimate side hustle. You want to earn extra money? Drive with Uber. Have a few spare hours here and there? Drive with Uber. You like the idea of being your own boss? Drive with Uber. You make a great boss. You're probably driving right now. You should be earning. If you want your car to start making you money, then visit uber.com/drive now and get your side hustle on today. That's uber.com/drive now.
Now with your American Express card, it's 2 times as splendid to shop small at local stores, because today is 2-day and you could earn 2 times your rewards. So now those Main Street beats and corner treats are 2 times as cool and 2 times as sweet. One-of-a-kind finds have 2 times the surprise, and hidden spots are 2 times the tops. There's always a special feeling when you shop small in your neighborhood. And now that it's 2-day, it feels 2 times as good.
Now through December 31st, you could earn 2 times your rewards when you shop small with an enrolled American Express card. Learn more and enroll at AmericanExpress.com. You will not earn 2 times rewards on any bonus you may already enjoy with your card. Prepaid and corporate cards, cards issued by other financial institutions, the Plum Card, and certain other cards are not eligible. Reward cap and other terms apply.
Learn more and enroll online today at AmericanExpress.com. Get out, get together, and shop small.
This is the World Series on ESPN Radio.
And a hanging breaking ball is hit a ton to left field and gone. What a night for Roberto Perez. His second home run of the ball game blows it open. 6-0 Indians.
That was exciting to watch. It gave us a cushion early, and then late kind of spread it out. In the 7th or 8th inning, that wasn't looking like a 6-0 game. So it's nice anytime everybody was happy for him. You could see the way everybody reacted to it.
Terry Francona, the Indians manager, on his number 9 hitter, Roberto Perez, 2 homers, 4 RBI in the 6-0 Indians Game 1 World Series win over the Cubs. Game 2 coming up just past the top of the hour here on ESPN Radio. Dan Schulman and Aaron Boone will have our call. Junior Home Run Derby allows kids 14 and under to compete for the National Home Run Derby Championship at the 2017 All-Star Game. Sign up today to host a free competition in your local community at jrhrd.com. Coming up next, why the Cubs may be in trouble after their Game 1 loss last night. With Chris Singleton, I'm Mark Kestisher, Singy at Progressive Field in Cleveland in advance of Game 2 of the World Series. And what's behind the story of Roberto Perez and his taking advantage of an opportunity?
Yeah, and he's really showing to be not only the catcher of the present for the Cleveland Indians, but really the catcher of the future. He's a kid that came up in mid-July to take over the duties after Yan Gomes, their primary catcher, was injured. Remember, the Cleveland Indians were trying to acquire Jonathan Lucroy for the Milwaukee Brewers. Looked like they had a deal done, but Lucroy was able to kind of get out of it and work his way to Texas and end up in the postseason, but not in the World Series like Cleveland is. With that said, may have been the best thing that happened for Cleveland, being here, discovering Roberto Perez. And I was able to talk to Indians Hall of Famer first base coach Sandy Alomar about the Puerto Rican kid and the catcher and how he's developed. And one thing that Sandy said is that the lower half balance was really needed for Roberto Perez. When he came up, his heels were a little closer together. Kind of wanted to be like Yadier Molina, a guy that he looks up to, and be able to control the running game that way. But they needed him to be able to spread out and have better balance on the lower half so he could block balls, but he could also maximize his soft hands. Really soft hands. But as Sandy was explaining, a wider stance, good balance there, allows that pitch to the outside shoulder to be received and maintained in that spot instead of with a closer position of the feet, the momentum of the pitch causing them to kind of move out of the strike zone. So some very good nuggets that Sandy was able to kind of share. Also, Terry Francona told us that the starting rotation and the pitching staff entirely, they were very patient with the young catchers. He was learning how to call the games, getting familiar with what they had, getting familiar with the opponents, and never showed him up, never showed any frustration with the mistake that he made. And with all those things combined, he's done a great job behind the plate. But what we've seen offensively, he's come up with big hits. Game 1 of the division series, an opposite field home run. And who would have thought coming in last night that he would do what he did? Not just the solo shot again, but the 3-run bomb late. Extremely impressive.
Yeah, that was the breathing room, and when he steps into the plate tonight, he'll see that 500 average up on the board as he'll bat 9th tonight in Game 2. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jason Hayward, a ton of money spent for him, 8 years, $184 million. He's 2 for 28 in the postseason. They went with Chris Coughlin last night, and tonight he's not starting again. How does this help or hurt them, even looking forward into next season?
I don't know that it helps them tonight. I understand that Hayward struggled miserably, but I also understand his value defensively in this game. You also look at who he's being replaced with, Jorge Soler, who can be a liability at times out there in the outfield. So sometimes weighing it out and saying how many runs is a guy going to save us as opposed to how many opportunities he misses to drive in runs. And I think tonight as well, with Trevor Bauer going, there'd be a better chance of Hayward having some level of success. But with that said, you're so close to the finish line. You want to seal the deal and win the World Series. I understand the urgency in which Joe Madden is managing with. We hear that there was a conversation coming into the series, and there seems to be an understanding. I think that's very important at this point because going forward, you got a lot of years left on this deal, and there's a very good chance that Jason Hayward could go into the offseason, finally make the adjustments, and perhaps for good, that will allow him to become that player that when he broke camp with the Atlanta Braves several years back, we thought this is going to be the next Chipper Jones level player. Well, he's gotten Chipper Jones money and beyond, but he hasn't performed to that level yet, and the Cubs are hoping with a long contract that they will be able to get him to tap into that over the offseason and into next year.
All right, Singy, we'll talk to you on the postgame.
All right. Thank you, Kesty.
You got it. Chris Singleton from Progressive Field in Cleveland, site of Game 2 of the World Series. The Cubs and the Indians. Our pitching matchup, Jake Arrieta and Trevor Bauer. Dan Shulman and Aaron Boone will have our call. Now, the Cubs dropped the opener last night. Not usually a big deal when you think best-of-7 series, but if you follow recent World Series history, a Game 1 loss is not a good omen. Here's some Fall Classic data on why the Cubs may be in trouble after only one game. Over the past 3 decades, almost every team that lost Game 1 of the World Series found it had just dug itself a canyon it couldn't climb out of. It's tough to comprehend, but Game 1 losers have lost the past 6 World Series.
Strike 3 called inside corner, and the Kansas City Royals have won the World Series. They are mobbing Wade Davis out on the infield, dressed just beside the mound, as the Royals are the champions of baseball for the first time in 30 years.
In fact, going all the way back to 1997, the only 2 teams to lose Game 1 and survive, the 2009 Yankees and the 2002 Angels. Then there's the Cubs' own not-so-beautiful history when they lose Game 1 of any postseason series. Tuesday's Game 1 loss in Cleveland marked the 14th time the Cubs had lost the opener of any type of series. They've gone 1-12 in the previous 13, coming back to win only their division series against the Cardinals last year.
And the 0-2, swing and a miss, the tag applied, and the Cubs have won it. celebration begins right near home plate with Rondon and Montero right in the middle of it. The Chicago Cubs have defeated the St. Louis Cardinals and are moving on to the National League Championship Series.
Now, if we confine this study to just best-of-7 series, it gets even more ominous. The Cubs have now lost Game 1 of a best-of-7 series 10 times. They're 0-9 in the previous 9. Then again, they're the Cubs, so losing series in just about every way possible has been one of their areas of expertise.
And again, the 3-2 pitch and a fly ball down the left field line. Heading over near the wall in foul territory is Alou. He jumps and a fan took it away from him. And Alou is livid. The ball was clearly in the seats. So no interference on the fan is going to be ruled. But Moises Alou jumped and reached his glove into the seats and looked like he might catch that ball. But a fan reached up and took it right out of his glove.
Finally, the Cubs have now been shut out 3 times in this postseason after Game 1 of the World Series last night.
And a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. On the appeal down to first, Ross goes around on that slider, and the Cubs loaded with nobody out and cannot score in the 7th.
Of the 7 previous teams to get blanked 3 times or more in the same postseason, just one, the 1981 Dodgers, went on to win the World Series. So, if you want to look at the positive, if you're the Cubs...
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! Yeah, we always try to find some positives here and there. And for more on could the Cubs be in trouble after one loss, check out Jason Stark's column today on ESPN.com. I'm Mark Kestisher. It's baseball tonight on ESPN Radio, presented by Scott's. First pitch, Game 2, World Series, Cubs and Indians, a half hour away. You could follow us on Twitter at MLB on ESPN Radio. Well, for the 3rd time this postseason, the Cubs have been shut out. Last night, they struck out 15 times. Leadoff man Dexter Fowler fanned twice in an 0-for-4 Game 1 performance. He spoke a short time ago with our Chris Singleton.
Here with Dexter Fowler, Cubs center fielder, and Dex, last night a tough one, Game 1 of the World Series. You guys have been through adversity before. How do you bounce back Game 2, get your minds right to go out and win?
We've done it before. We got enough confidence in each other. I don't think the boys are too down. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the pitcher.
Last night, Corey Kluber, he had good stuff working. What did it look like coming out of his hand standing at the plate?
A wiffle ball. Yeah, it looked like a wiffle ball, but like I said, he was on his game. Sometimes you just got to tip your cap and move on.
So, Game 2, you guys have Jake Arrieta, has been one of the best in the game. Could be Kluber like himself, along with John Lester, who's been great as well. What do you expect from this team playing behind him?
I expect us to do what we do. Go out and play hard, make plays, and we'll be right behind him. We know he's going to pitch. He's a bulldog. He's going to go right at him, and we'll make the plays behind him.
You've been around a long time, man, and you played a lot of big games, but none bigger than what you played in this postseason with the Cubs. What's it been like for you just getting ready for whether it was Division Series, Championship Series games, and now World Series?
It's been awesome. It's been awesome, especially with my brothers over here. All the boys, they're ready to go. We got that look in our eyes. So, it's a matter about just going out and playing our game, and everything else will take care of itself.
After tonight, you head back to Chicago. What are you expecting that crowd to be like after you guys clinched at home the Championship Series, Game 3 of the World Series in Chicago? They haven't had that before.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be real loud. We're excited to get back home in front of our fans and see where it takes us.
Now, most NBA players come in the ballpark, they stay with cameras on them, walking from the bus, they look clean. You're that guy in baseball, man. Tell me about the attire for postseason, how you step up your game.
My game's always the same. I'm not going to step up the game for anything else. I mean, I try to stay on top of that the whole time.
Now, if you're an NBA player, where do you think you'd rank in terms of, just gear and everything else?
I think I'd be up there. I think I got my own different little swag. So, they try to think outside the box. Mine's, I'm down, but it's clean.
All right, let's just change lanes a little bit because sometimes we just talk all baseball. Last night, the Warriors, they lose their opener. Thoughts on that?
It'll be fine. We lost our opener. We're going to be fine.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that's Dexter Fowler. Kesty, back to you in the studio.
All right, Stingy, thanks a lot. And speaking of the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers off their win last night, expected to be in attendance at Progressive Field as the Indians take their 1-0 lead over the Cubs into Game 2 coming up just past the top of the hour. Up next on Baseball Tonight, Chris Singleton on the legend of Kyle Schwarber, which was born last night, plus Andrew Miller's availability tonight for the Indians in Game 2. You're listening to the World Series on ESPN Radio.
Does your life feel like a never-ending to-do list? This is Country Financial Representative Brett Kroenke.
And I'm Trent Swift. We understand the never-ending balancing act, so planning for your retirement, something that could be 10, 20, or 30 years in the future, is easy to put off.
At Country Financial, we can help you focus on your individual situation to create a solid retirement plan for your future.
So what are you waiting for? Call Brett Kroenke or Trent Swift.
Let's check your retirement plan off your to-do list.
Investment management, retirement, trust, and planning services are provided by Country Trust Bank. Investments are not FDIC insured, not bank guaranteed, and may lose value.
Hi, I'm Gary Knight from Carmack Honda in Danville. Just 40 years ago, Carmack Honda delivered our first 1976 Honda Accord and has been recognized as an award-winning family sedan ever since. Safety, dependability, and fuel efficiency make people love their Hondas, and Cub fans love their Cubbies, and only a way Cub fans can believe. So when you're shopping for a new Honda, believe in Carmack Honda to get you the very best price, service, and selection. Check us out today at CarmackHonda.com.
Do you live in Urbana? Visit the Sprint store on the corner of Philo and Florida for your new device, and we'll transfer all of your precious photos, contacts, and other important data from your old one. Also, come see us in North Champaign at Center Court and Marketplace Mall. Let us set up your new phone or tablet while you take the kids to the play area or while you get your shopping done. If you're on North Prospect, visit the only Sprint mobile device service center in town, located next to Starbucks. Let us help find your perfect new phone or fix your old one. Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Local, convenient, and serving our community since 2011.
There's a time for work, there's a time for play, there's a time to do things you don't do every day. There's a place to go for tools and machines and people with knowledge about these things. We've been here since 53 to meet your rental needs. When the time comes, we're the place for everything. Rental City.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
As the leader in fire protection and security systems for industrial, commercial, and residential buildings, Matco features exceptional protection. Matco installs, maintains, and inspects fire sprinklers, alarms, CCTV, security systems, and access-controlled systems. Their vigilance is a must-have priority to protect your assets. Matco's digital monitoring and veteran personnel are your best security investment. Their 24-hour emergency service ensures that you are covered at all times. Contact Matco at matcofire.com.
This fall, the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts remind you that every year more than 20,000 people in the U.S. visit the ER due to carbon monoxide poisoning. So make sure your carbon monoxide detectors work and get a furnace precision tune-up and safety inspection from Chief Bauer Service Experts for just $79. Normally $120, that's a $41 savings. You'll also save up to 30% on energy bills, and you'll get a written 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call 866-EXPERTS or schedule your tune-up online at chiefbauer.com.
Stone Seed knows Illinois. Their hybrids and varieties are developed and tested exclusively for Illinois soils. At TWS Seed, Tim has 17 years of experience in the seed industry and recognizes great products. Stone Seed's corn hybrids and soybean varieties out-yields the competition 80% of the time. Remember, what goes in the grain tank goes to the bank. Call Tim Wood at TWS Seed at 493-2295. Stone Seed. We live here. We farm here. We know Illinois. ESPN Radio 93.5.
This is the World Series on ESPN Radio.
Let's see if he goes back to the breaking ball. He does, and it's a swing and a miss on a ball down and away to get Bryant and end the inning.
That's pitching 101 right there. 101.
8 strikeouts through 3 for Kluber. 2-0 Indians going to the bottom of the third.
In these playoffs, he's been about as good as, and we need him. And we're going to need him more. But he prepares so hard, and we were talking about before the game, his routines and his work ethic. That's why you're late in October, and the needle on the gas tank isn't pointing towards empty.
Terry Francona, the Indian skipper, pulling Corey Kluber after 88 pitches, 6+ scoreless innings, 9 strikeouts. He'll be back for Game 4 as well. The Indians went up 1-0 on the Chicago Cubs. Game 2 of the World Series coming up just past top of the hour. Dan Shulman, Aaron Boone will have the call. I'm Mark Kestis here with Baseball Tonight. And coming up next, Chris Singleton on the legend of Kyle Schwarber being born last night. Scott's Pitch, Hit, and Run is Major League Baseball's free skills competition for boys and girls age 7 to 14. Sign up now to host a free competition in your local community at pinchhitrun.com. Let's go back to Progressive Field. ESPN's Buster Olney was with us. Buster, how remarkable is what Kyle Schwarber has been able to do getting into Game 1 of the World Series last night?
Wow. Just a few minutes ago, I was talking with David Ross about that, and he just said it just spoke so much to his ability to hit. You think about it, going into Game 1, he was a total wild card in the minds of the Cubs front office, and then by the end of his second plate appearance, he was among the most trusted Cubs hitters. We know that because third time through the order when he was due to bat against Andrew Miller left-handed, did Joe Madden pinch hit for him? No. And on the night, first plate appearance, a 6-pitch strikeout. Second plate appearance, a ringing double off Corey Kluber. Draws the walk off Andrew Miller. Has another great at-bat. He saw 18 pitches. Look, moving forward, the Cubs are very confident that Schwarber will be able to help them.
Buster, good news. They moved up the game an hour because of bad weather that was predicted 24 hours ago. The radar shows a lot of rain north. The good news is tarp's off the field, but it is cold and it is windy. What did Jake Arrieta and Jorge Soler tell you about pitching in the cold, playing in the cold?
Well, Jorge Soler has a very distinct history in cold weather. In 21 games in his career, he has a 169 batting average, no homers, and 2 RBI. When you talk to scouts, they say that he just does not look comfortable. The reason why he's starting, though, is he's very good at hitting high fastballs, which is what Trevor Bauer throws. And Jake Arrieta started Game 2 of the National League Championship Series last year in New York in 45-degree temperatures, went out with short sleeves. And during the course of the winter, in talking with Cubs people, they were like, well, I don't know if that was the best thing for him to do. I'm looking at him now, Kesty, short sleeves again.
Figures. Hey, the Indians, Buster, have relied heavily, really, on 3 pitchers this postseason. What are they expecting from Trevor Bauer tonight?
Yeah, and to put some numbers to what you're talking about, 58.3% of the innings thrown in by Cleveland in this postseason have come from Corey Kluber, from Cody Allen, and from Andrew Miller. And now they have to get that circle of trust wider with Bauer. I talked to Mickey Callaway, their pitching coach, a little while ago, and he said, Trevor's doing great. He feels good. He's now 8 days past that day when he was bleeding all over the mound in Toronto. They don't think that's going to be an issue. I think the biggest question they always have about Bauer in situations like this is, how will he handle his adrenaline? You know, if Cleveland gets the lead, Terry Francona will again manage aggressively and go to his bullpen.
Yeah, and issues of command as well. So few pitches he's thrown in the last 3 weeks. Buster Olney with us from Progressive Field in advance of Game 2 of the World Series. And it could come down to a big bullpen leverage moment. We know what Andrew Miller's done this whole postseason. 46 pitches last night. What's the availability? How's he feeling?
When reporters met with him right after Game 1, he essentially cut off the question and said, no, I'll be ready to pitch tomorrow. And we actually saw an example of that in the American League Championship Series. Game 1 against Toronto, he threw 31 pitches. There were questions, would he be ready for Game 2? All he did was come back and throw 25 pitches. So, yes, he's available for tonight's game. Terry Francona has acknowledged that he probably won't be used in the same way. It might be tonight if he has to go to the bullpen. More responsibility for Brian Shaw, more responsibility for Cody Allen. And here's the thing, if the Indians get a lead, they usually hold it. In every game in this postseason that they've won, they've never had a game where they've had a lead in the postseason in which they haven't won.
Buster, thanks for the information as always. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Kesty.
Buster Olney live from Progressive Field with Game 2 of the World Series coming up in just a bit. I'm Mark Kestisher. Baseball tonight on ESPN Radio, presented by Scotts. Indians manager Terry Francona is now 9-0 in his World Series managing career, and he's got lots of options with this 2016 Indians club. The Cleveland skipper spoke with the media short time ago.
Tito, how much of a luxury is it for you to have as many switch hitters as you have on this team? And also platooning, like as a manager over the years, how have your thoughts on that changed over time?
I don't think they've changed. I think that it just depends on your team. Some guys don't need to be platooned. Depending on what your team is, you can't platoon everybody. And like you were just referring to, the switch hitter certainly helps. And since I've been here, I think we've had about 3 every year. So that really helps. If you're trying to create a platoon advantage, you're always going to have a head start on everybody else because of the switch hitters. And we've probably had 2 or 3 positions where we've platooned or somewhat platooned over the last couple of years, and I think it served us well. I know everybody wants to play every day. I get it. I just think that at times when we use all 25, I think we're a little better team than just using 18 or 19.
Terry, you have Mike Napoli on your team. He's in the World Series a lot, it seems, every couple of years for a different team. What is it about him that kind of, I guess, is part of it's so helpful to a winning atmosphere? And have you ever been to a party at his place?
I can answer the second one quicker. I don't want to get injured. I know that you can't go to a World Series on your own, especially in our game. But there's more to it than that with him. He's had a huge impact in where we are this year, more than just the numbers. The numbers are really good, but all the other things aren't overstated. What he's done is legit, and it's powerful. Sometimes you just get lucky along the way where you get pretty special people, and you try to take advantage of it.
Terry Francona with reporters just a couple of hours ago as we get set for Game 2 of the World Series. Now, the Cubs' Kyle Schwarber played in only 2 games this regular season. He's in the Cubs starting lineup for the second straight night in the World Series. For more, here's Chris Singleton.
Need a hot take? This is what Singy says.
Last night, the legend of Cubs player Kyle Schwarber was born. I know you're thinking, wait, the Cubs got beat pretty good last night. How's that, Singy? Well, let's take a walk beyond the scoreboard. Let me refresh you with the background story on Kyle Joseph Schwarber, and that he suffered a knee injury during the second game of the regular season that required what was supposed to be season-ending surgery.
Fly ball left center, pretty well hit. Back goes Schwarber and Fowler, and the players collide. Schwarber is shaken up. Schwarber is hurt. Rounding third is Segura. The relay throw to the plate. Inside the park, home run. Schwarber is shaken up.
The type of injury he suffered takes on average an entire calendar year to recover, assuming the rehab work is very intense and aggressive and the individual is a quick healer. Number 12 hadn't played in a major league game or faced major league pitching since April 7th. He was seen around Wrigley Field all summer long, mentally engaged in the Cubs' historic run as he would intensely compete every day against the predetermined time of his return. Through blood-sweating rehab, a mentally exhausting study of pitchers, watching his teammates play while having no spikes of his own and only invisible pom-poms in his hands. It is almost never the case that a big league player who undergoes major league surgery and spends more than 60 days on the disabled list returns to action without going on a rehab assignment lasting a minimum of 5 games before returning to regular season big league action. Kyle Schwarber was away for 6.5 months, got 8 minor league plate appearances, and was then activated and in the starting lineup for the Cubs' biggest game in 61 years. I've become famous for this reaction. Wow. Well, maybe not. On top of his return to action last night, I would argue that he turned in the best plate appearances of any Cub player in the team's 6-0 loss to the Indians.
And the first pitch swung on and hit a long way to right field. Back goes Chisenhall. It's off the wall on the fly. And Schwarber is on his way into second base a little bit gingerly, standing up just ahead of the throw in his second at bat since missing more than 6 months with a torn ACL. He just missed a home run and winds up with a double.
He went 1 for 3 with a walk, and that double off the right field wall. He saw 18 pitches in total, or 4.5 pitchers per plate appearance. The Major League average of pitches per plate appearance seen during the regular season was only 3.87. When I was going really good in my career, I might have seen 18 pitches over the course of a week's worth of games. But I digress. If last night's performance by Schwarber against a couple of the best pitchers in the game, pitching at their best, was any indication of how truly ready he is to contribute to the Cubs winning their first World Series in over 100 years, then Indian starter Trevor Bauer will have to become more like Jack Bauer to try to stop number 12 from doing enough damage to fill an episode of 24.
Our Chris Singleton on Kyle Schwarber, who is still in the 5-hole for the Cubs tonight. There are some lineup changes for Chicago. That includes catcher Wilson Contreras is in, plus Jason Hayward remains nailed to the Chicago bench. Some topics reporters asked Joe Madden about earlier in Cleveland.
Yesterday you were mentioning the possibility of using Contreras as a catcher because of, he could control better the running game. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit more about that today, and also the inclusion in your lineup of Soler?
Yeah, well, today, yes. I mean, everybody knows how well the Indians were just talking about base running, plus they can steal some bases, too. And Wilson's very good at stopping that. David did a nice job last night. I believe the same thing about Wilson. And not to denigrate Miggy. Miggy's one of the best receivers I think that's in the game even today. Both leagues. We're receiving borderline pitches, calling a game, all that stuff. Miggy's outstanding. But Wilson's gotten a lot better at that, too. Plus, he's probably got one of the most premier arms, again, in either league. Beyond that, Bauer. Bauer kind of presents as a reverse split guy, being that he's better against left-handed hitters than righties. And Soler fits into that mold where he's right-handed, obviously. And the thing with reverse split guys is that if you think about a righty throwing to a left-handed hitter, they're throwing the ball to the weak part of the bat all the time. They're always getting on guys' hands with the cutter, elevated fastball, breaking ball in the dirt. Whereas with the right-handed hitter, the reverse guys have a tendency to throw the ball to the barrel. So I like the idea that we have those 4 righties at the back side: Baez, Contreras, Soler, Addy. And, of course, you're not going to not include Fowler. And, of course, we have our lefties in the lineup, too. And it's not to say that a lefty cannot hit him. But if you have the option between a righty and a lefty, if you're going to do that kind of platoon thing, I prefer playing a right-hander against this pitcher.
Joe Madden just a few hours ago getting set for Game 2 of the World Series. We're just about set. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. You're listening to the World Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
That'll do it for baseball tonight. I'm Mark Kestisher. The Indians a 1-0 lead on the Chicago Cubs. Dan Schulman and Aaron Boone will have the call of Game 2 of the World Series. Coming up next, this is the World Series on ESPN Radio.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You are in the driver's seat, in complete control, in life and on the road. Your driving record is impeccable, and for this, you are greatly rewarded with Snapshot from Progressive. You use your savings to buy a World's Best Driver t-shirt. It runs a little small.
The more righteous you drive, the more you can save with Snapshot from Progressive. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Motor oil is a simple concept, but some oil brands are overcomplicating things, like adding deposit shields or injecting titanium.